Good morning to most, good afternoon to others, and good evening to the viewing audiences across the pond. I am your host, Jason Miles, here for another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. Well, I guess I should say Pop Life, brought to you by This is Revolution Podcast. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us on this, what for me is a lovely Saturday morning here in Baja. Pop Life is our pop culture show that we do here on TIR. We get to talk about music, movies, all aspects of pop culture, a little more fun, which is saying a lot, especially if you watched the Thursday show, which was about dating on the left. If you haven't seen the Thursday show, go back and watch the Thursday show. Definitely watch it with the chat, the live chat at the time. They were saying things that I definitely could not repeat on air. It was a good time. The champagne room was even more fun as we opened up the phone lines. I don't know when we can do that again, but we definitely will have another one. Maybe we'll bring Alfie on next time. If you are a returning subscriber, listener, or one of our very valued patrons, fuck yeah! So glad to have you here with us. You can watch all of the TIR video essays. That's right. Over the years, we've done some really cool video essays. I actually watched one the other day on the LA riots. Took all that stuff down, and our episode 1 of Kayfabe and all the following episodes of Kayfabe and all the following video essays will now be on Means TV. So if you want to see Kayfabe episode 1 and check out all the other video essays that we've done over the years, go to Means TV, use the discount code This is Revolution, all caps, all one word, and receive a 20% off discount for a monthly or yearly subscription. We put that on the screen so you can see. Bam. Right there. This is Revolution, all one word. Receive 20% off. Also, if you're enjoying what we do here on TIR, stuff like the call-in shows we get to do in the bonus half of Patreon. Sometimes we get to do the call-in shows here, but I'm blowing through the phone budget because they charge me by the minute. But if you'd like us to do more call-in shows, the best way to make that happen is become a patron for as little as $3 a month or $30 for the year. You can be part of the TIR crew. Hang out with us in the patrons only champagne room. Depending on your level of patronage, you can get exclusive patron only merch. That's right. Things that you cannot buy at the TIR website. If you want to try it out, it's free for 7 days. That's right. A 7-day trial on Patreon. There are people on the trial right now. Wherever you are watching or listening to this, there are links in the description. So don't wait, act now. Also, in the description of this show is the playlist that I'm still making. This has been the longest playlist so far that we've done. I thought 93 was going to kill me. Then we did 94. 95 is ridiculous. There's so much music that we have to break 95 down into like 4 shows. This is the alternative show today. We're going to do a hip hop show because you have to talk about the hip hop. You have to talk about all the electronic music that comes out in 1995. So much. But today on Pop Life, we're going to take a deep dive into the music that shaped generations. Alternative. We're not just going to take a trip back to 95. We're going to be discussing arguably one of the most defining years in alternative music, where the underground and the mainstream clashed and merged and exploded as something unforgettable. The mid-90s were a turning point. By 95, grunge was fading, but alternative rock was bigger than ever. The Smashing Pumpkins, for those of you who don't know, that's Conan's favorite group. Oasis, Conan said that's his 3rd favorite group. And Foo Fighters ruled the airwaves. But at the same time, the underground was thriving. Bands like Hum, Tricky, Elastica were pushing boundaries. This was the year where Britpop battled against American angst, shoegaze morphed into dream pop, and post-hardcore whispered promises of what emo and indie rock would become. I love it. I know Conan wants to say so much right now. And I love the fact that I'm not letting him in. Conan and I will break down some of the year's best songs, both the hits you couldn't escape as well as the deep cuts that still deserve a listen today. Whether you were there or you're discovering this era for the first time, let us celebrate and discuss one of the most iconic years in alternative music. And to discuss this with me, and let me bring in my co-host for these music endeavors, and honestly, kind of a man with encyclopedic knowledge of this genre. I wouldn't do this show without him. Please welcome the one, the only, Conan Neutron.
Happy to be here. It's awesome that this is a part 2. Like, it makes sense that eventually we, rather than having like a 5-hour episode, we just split them up.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. And also in doing this one, which kind of, I'll be honest with people listening, is a bit of a joke, because this is the year that I forget. Did you graduate in 95 or 96?
95.
Okay, so this is the year Conan and I graduated, and this is our 30-year high school reunion year. I you know what's funny? People tease me because a lot of people that I went to school with are guests on this show because of what they've done post.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Not everyone just started working at their dad's used car lot. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually had a decent time in high school, and actually still are relatively close with a lot of people I went to school with. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're watching the show right now. I don't know. But putting the playlist together, it reminded me of a couple things. Number one, I listened to a lot of music in 93 and 94 and 95, or from 93, 94, 95. And there is a lot of alternative stuff that comes out this year. Maybe not people's best records. I think you mentioned that on the last one. But the one thing I want to talk about, we talked a little bit about this on our Grunge show with Daniel Bessner. Do you feel that 95 is a year where grunge is starting to die out, like the big names in that? Because there is no more Nirvana. Alice in Chains releases, not a good record.
Definitely not.
Did not like it.
But like I said, the packaging, aces. The music, not great.
Oh my God, it's not.
But the packaging was cool as hell.
I tried, because Daniel had said something about Alice in Chains on that Grunge show. He said by 95, they really fall in line with that sound.
Yeah, like, you want this, huh? Great, we'll do that.
That is exactly what that record sounds like, and I didn't dig it.
Yeah.
But Soundgarden, they don't release anything this year. I think it's the following year they release.
Well, and the following year, that's the one that I like that record now, but at the time it was like kind of Beatlesy, and like I was like, I don't know if I want that from Soundgarden. Like when I saw Soundgarden at Lollapalooza, I think like half the set was from that record, and I was like, I just want to hear 4th of July, man. That's like I just want to hear like the heavy stuff. Like it was, like not that they were going to be playing that one anyway, but it was not where my head was at. But I mean, they still played, like Rusty Cage. It was great. It was still a great show, but it was like the one and only Lollapalooza I went to. Ramones played that one. Devo played that one. Metallica. Actually, to this day, I think it's the only time I saw Metallica.
How'd you like them?
I loved it. I thought they were great.
So a lot of people, we should talk about that, because this is also a weird time too. When we're in like the 8th grade and 7th
Down
grade,
on the Upside is the name of the record. Yeah, okay, thank you. I was trying to remember what the name of that one was.
Metallica is a band that when we were in junior high, that was an outsider band.
Mm-hmm.
People got
beat right, exactly. Yeah.
In just a handful of years, right? 6 years, Metallica is kind of not booed, but people are mad at Lollapalooza, the alternative quote unquote festival, for bringing a band,
for including them. Well, and also Black Album is how you had people that were like normies, like jocks and stuff, getting into Metallica. That just was not a thing before, flat out. Like it wasn't a thing. I think, just speaking to your earlier point, I would have said at the time in 1995 that it was like, oh no, what are you talking about? Everything's still cooking. They're still, I may not like them, but like that genre of music is still alive and well. But there was absolutely a sea change going on, at least within the mainstream world. But then at the same time, the underground thriving with records that to this day are still influential and have influenced entire genres. I'm not even talking about, like Pavement, Fugazi, Guided by Voices, et cetera. Mr. Bungle, they do Disco Volante this year, right? And there's so many different, and that's just in the rock genre. Guided by Voice, Alien Lanes, like one of the best Guided by Voices records, in my opinion, of their 100,000 records, comes out this year. We mentioned Radiohead. I think they do the Fake Plastic Trees single, at least, if not the record this year. I can't remember if we talked about that last time. But point is, like, in retrospect, a very important sea change of a year that brought in a lot of new voices, a lot of innovators. You mentioned Hum. I love Hum. You prefer an astronaut? Hum ended up playing on Howard Stern because Howard Stern likes the song that's a single, which is crazy. That's the thing that happened. Champaign, Illinois Hum was on Howard Stern.
Well, people are buying records. We have to remember this one thing about the industry that I think people forget, because we've been in the streaming moment for probably 10 plus years now. Yeah. Let's say for about 2012, we've been streaming. We went from storage locker services, right, for the iPod, and let's just get as much music as we can and store it in these hard drives.
I can listen to mine, I can listen to this much music. Wow. Oh no, you can listen to like all music throughout all of time. Okay. But you're renting it. You don't own any of it. Like, and they can take it away at any minute in time. But whatever. That's
now the renting thing has changed. It's changed a lot of ways. I think that we look at stuff, but the industry was actually, people were buying records, not singles. Right. So everybody was making quite a bit of money in the 90s. So a lot of the industry was looking for the next Nirvana.
Everybody was looking for the next Nirvana. And they want their own.
If you could find Nirvana not in LA, then you can find anything anywhere. And so a lot of people are getting signed that maybe have the look, but in my opinion, not necessarily the sound.
Or vice versa. Okay. They had the sound but not the look, or the look but not the sound. Yeah, I mean, and also they were just willing to take risks. They still didn't quite understand why this stuff was hitting the way it was. All they knew is they wanted more. It was like they want another hit. And I think it's amazing because there's some stuff got let in that never in a million years would have been given mainstream money. Butthole Surfers were on our major label. And then they had a hit that happened to sound exactly like Beck, but like whatever. The Butthole Surfers.
Do you think Beck kind of is able to come up in this rush as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the pre-Mellow Gold stuff, he was always a bit of a freak, and the only thing is that like he ended up like get like a bit of a bigger budget, and like Mellow Gold's a weird record. Like when you get to Odelay, like where he does like I think the Dust Brothers and stuff like that, I like that record, but that's definitely like that's a big pop record that really shouldn't work. Like there's nothing about it that should work, but it's the fact that he still had this gutter genius action going on and just happened to coincide with some great songwriting and whatnot. I think that record is maybe even a little underrated. He kind of misses me after that. I'm a big fan of he did like One Foot in the Grave. It's like this quiet acoustic record that's amazing. I want to say I Killed Rock Stars. And then he redid a couple of those songs for another record he did that's like the same thing, but like glossier production. But that's still like Beck at his nadir when there was this genre crossover within the music. And I'm not going to talk about Red Hot Chili Peppers, but like, Fishbone, Urban Dance Squad, you had all these bands that were taking elements of, they were heavy, but they were taking elements of funk. They were going back to like, Sly Stone. And stuff like that, but also putting the aggressiveness of punk rock and metal music into it. And that kind of manifested in weird ways, some of which I remembered better than others. But that was kind of more of an early 90s thing that handled through the mid-90s. But you also had bands like Sonic Youth still operating. Washing Machine came out that year. They're on tour with Neil Young. They're right around with Neil Young.
Solo record that year too.
He did, and that's actually his best solo record, I think, Psychic Hearts. But Sonic Youth is they're literally on tour with Neil Young, and you can tell like when you hear, oh wow, they're really getting exploratory. Like the songs are getting like longer. critics may say that it sounds it's like they're doing a Grateful Dead thing or something. Not really, but and some people like that band, so I don't want to disparage that band. But what I'm saying is that they're Sonic Youth, like the scion of experimental music through like the mid to late 80s and early 90s. They're still around, but they're trying different stuff. They always were trying different stuff, but there's a lot of that. Wowie Zowie, Pavement, they're not remaking Slanted and Enchanted. They're going a different direction, but they have a huge, I mean, more or less Cut Your Hair is, that starts like the modern quote unquote indie rock movement in a lot of ways, at least in the mainstream of it. And that had come out just like a year earlier. So you end up, there's all these genres where people are just, in some cases it's a reaction to quote unquote grunge, and in some cases it's sort of like the next level. Like Garbage, I was never really a big Garbage guy.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I didn't hate them. It never really like appealed to me. Like I got what they were doing, but there's something kind of like almost too glossy about it. But that comes out that year. It's huge. That's a huge record.
I wouldn't say I didn't care for it. It's just something that was peripheral to me. Because in 95, another thing that hit me in 95, where I was in my life, if it wasn't something underground that I could get on the street and it was on the radio or MTV, I didn't care for it too much. Yeah. So, I was that kid. So a lot of this stuff, I was playing the playlist this morning, actually, when I woke up. And there's a lot of stuff I didn't recognize. A lot of stuff I didn't dig.
Were you fucking with like Rammstein and stuff at that time?
No, I was in a rap group.
That's funny because like I was just thinking about Rammstein and I just double checked it, and it's the one that the record cover on this one is wild. It's like they're all shirtless. It's a bunch of shirtless German dudes. There's like a flower in the background. Like what?
This is 95, right?
This is 95. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Rammstein is on the list. Yeah.
I don't remember if that's the one that has Du hast mich. What I do remember is my very, very gay leather daddy friend was all about Rammstein, and I never got it till I saw the album cover. I was like, oh, okay.
I've never got people that like Rammstein now. I've met young people, like young teenagers that are like, oh, I'm all about Rammstein. I'm like, word?
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you weird? Are you a school shooter?
Well, yeah, right. Because it's like Edgelord, Skinny Puppy, and Depeche Mode, or like Dollar Store Laibach to a certain degree. Dollar General.
Were you like that too? Were you just? There's stuff I didn't really necessarily get. Yeah. So a lot of
and you mentioned something. Think of Marilyn Manson too, right? Like I fucked with the first Marilyn Manson record, but then I was like, oh, this is sort of homaging and being influenced by all these other things that I actually like better. And so like by the time I got to like Antichrist Superstar, I was like, I'm out. I'm not into this. But it was, I'm not going to front and say that like it didn't connect with me at the time. Like I'm coming from like a suburban area where nobody shared my values or interests. Right? Anything you can do that's like burn this place to the ground is always going to be popular. And I'm not immune to that any more than anyone else. Because they also found like Minor Threat and stuff, and Black Flag, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Someone says Skinny Puppy is the best of most industrial.
I agree. I mean, I think it's aged the best out of stuff from that era, and probably more undersung. That people listen for questionable reasons.
But there was a lot of well, I think we're still using the term college radio in 95.
Right, which Pavement were kings of. That's why I brought up Wowie Zowie, because that's the record after Crooked Rain, which had Cut Your Hair, which was their kind of breakout hit. But you still had songs like Rattled by the Rush that are on there that, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, like indie rock dudes in backwards baseball caps were like everywhere around that time. And I gotta say, I was a Pavement hater for years.
Why?
I will tell you, because I grew up in Modesto. Stockton was the next city over, and I was like super getting into like the birthday party and Flag and like all this like super aggressive music. I was like, oh, I don't want to listen to that weenie indie rock nonsense.
Oh, gotcha.
And then somebody played me Slanted and Enchanted. I was like, oh, this is like Central Valley of the Fall, but like in a good way. Like, and I was like, oh Christ, that was wrong. Okay. So then I got into those first few records, and I was like, oh, I really like the first EP and the first record the best, but this is all pretty good. But then they kind of gradually, to my sensibilities, got more boring as time went on, or more, let's say not as much to my personal sensibilities. But I was able to come back around and be like, yeah, Pavement's good. Like, but all the most annoying people listen to Pavement, and that's one of the reasons why like I was not, at least in the Bay Area. But then Scott Canberg, like legitimately like supporting the scene, like out and about, like putting out records by like awesome bands, like hanging around, and that made me be like, all right, Scott's cool as hell. I bet this band's actually. I was like listening with the wrong ears or something along those lines. But oh my God, Pavement inspired a lot of nonsense too. Not that it's their fault. It's like Slint. When you mad at Slint because they inspired a bunch of BS? No, it's like can't help who you inspire. Ask Mike Patton.
Jesus, yeah. Oh, Conan, you have a Modesto person here.
Oh, Downey. That's where. Okay, I'm gonna dox myself. That's where I went as well. So I was.
That's the high school you went to. Is that where all the bad kids went?
No, that's where George Lucas went. Is he a bad kid? I don't know.
Yes.
No, it's like one of 3 high schools in Modesto. I mean, it's kind of like 1 in 3 shot.
Were they big? They big schools?
Compared to what? I mean,
there was less than 1,000 kids in my high school.
This is not a topic I expected to be discussing right now, by the way. But
yeah,
it was big enough. We had metal kids, we had punk kids. I was one of the punk kids. And
did you have green hair?
Kind of blue hair. You
had blue hair?
Yep.
Mohawk?
No.
Would you pull out a picture right now of yourself in high school?
If I freaking had one, yeah. And unfortunately, the yearbook pictures are all in black and white.
Oh, see, they can't. Did you have like funny last words? You have the little last words in your yearbook.
I don't. You would imagine so, but I don't remember. I will say that in the one that's like the solo picture, for whatever reason, dude, I look like I could be like a young Republican or something. I don't know why, but I had to my hair is like totally non-dyed. I just look so sweet and innocent because I look like really cherubic. And
You've never grown your hair out long, huh?
It looks terrible, dude. Like if it gets about here and it's like, oh no, like everyone's like, oh, I know I asked for this, but I didn't ask for this. I was definitely like, I had this very specific set of sensibilities. Like the Descendants appealed to me a lot because they were sort of like, oh, the music is kind of dangerous and fast and cool, but you don't have to have like tons and tons of chains and like Liberty spikes and whatnot. Like that was something that really appealed to me there. But I was also just discovering stuff like all the time. And again, it's hard to describe for people that weren't there. You couldn't just fire up your phone and like find like a million like awesome
that is so that's bands. So true. And were you into like 120 minutes? Was that a big
hell yeah, that was like a lifeboat. Are you kidding me? Because even like the local record store, like man, they would stock like I keep invoking them, but they would stock like Pavement or Faith No More, but you'd be lucky if you could find Guided by Voices or Sonic Youth. That was like too far. Anything that was like a, quote unquote 120 minutes fair, forget it.
What about Unwound? Where'd you first
I found Unwound almost immediately upon moving to Oakland. So that would have been later that year. That would have Repetition, which that's one of the bands that made me actually want to play music. Instead of just like, it being a huge part of that. I'm sorry, April 96 is when Repetition came out. I got the cassette of Repetition and it kind of kicked my mind in. Because it was like, oh, here's like the thing that Sonic Youth does, but it's played with that kind of hardcore ferocity. Mm-hmm. And, it's musically interesting, it's discordant, but it's like, it sounds like, oh, this is no joke. And that was very appealing to me. So I was... When I started working at Tower Records, shout out MTS Incorporated, I was getting exposed to all this music all the time. And again, one of the biggest perks was I could just listen to music for free. and like people are like, what? But like, no, that was huge. That was absolutely gigantic. Like, and that made me start listening to like, Miles Davis and like, Wu-Tang Clan and like, just all these things that I never would even bother checking out before because I'm going to spend $12 on something I don't know or $15.
Well, yeah, you had access. You had the thing that we have now on our phones, which is access to everything. Yeah. What's crazy to me when I think about this time too for music is, like I said, when I make these playlists, you forget how much music comes out in a year. Because again, we weren't just at the record store every week buying something. And I was talking to a friend last night. I said, if you think about if you had the Columbia House deal and you got 12 CDs.
BMG and Columbia House, baby.
Yeah, right. You got 12 free and you had to buy one a month for a year. That's only 24 albums that you would have in a year.
Right,
If
and
did that-
you had to pick it based on like the album cover and the band name. You had oftentimes you're like, I never heard of this. I don't know. That looks all right.
It looks cool.
And sometimes you're like, all right, what's
they're on
Ruby?
Elektra. You're like, right? If you're like, oh, they're on Electra, I'll get it.
Right. Like, what's Ruby? I don't know. That looks like an interesting album cover. I'll check that out. Okay.
And the 90s is a time for horrific album covers.
Oh, yeah. There's some great ones, but there's also some ones where it's like, ooh.
What's a great album cover from the 90s? Be honest.
From the 90s, I think. I mean, we just mentioned Unwound. I think they got some great album covers. Those are
really
those are fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I like that aesthetic a lot.
Hated it. Hated it.
Damn.
There's Faith No More.
We're gonna seat you in seat H8 for hater. Damn.
Look, I'm looking at Post right there. Great album cover. Faith No More. Great album cover. Even bands I really dig. Tricky's cover was trash. I didn't like Portishead's cover.
Which first record or second record? I guess this would have been
second record. I actually like that cover.
Second record, I like the album cover a lot. First record, I don't think it does any harm. I mean,
yeah, it's just
and there's also just weird like that the freaking the Primus cover. It's like, what's going on there? Like, okay,
I've never liked the Primus cover.
Their covers are always kind of weird.
Very weird. Yeah,
it was a different time.
Yeah, like I said, someone said, "Yeah, I love the King for a Day." I had the artist on. Erica Druka came on the show. That's a great fucking cover. But if you think about album covers, especially for underground bands in the '90s,
yeah, Fugazis were always good. I always like Fugazis.
I never. That's why I never listened to them until like I got Spotify.
Really?
Didn't dig the covers.
All right.
I saw that name. I was like, don't dig it.
Learning all kinds of things about you tonight.
Yeah, I was. It's cover racist. Cover racist. I would just look
at Enya when she was like sitting on that throne. That Enya record that came out. Were you like, yeah?
Well, let me look. We got the thing right here. I don't know. I don't remember Enya. Yeah, look at the Unwound cover right now. We
sold a lot of copies of that Enya record when I was at Tower. I tell you that much. People were like, "Can you get that Enya?" Here it is. A lot of dentists.
There's on the playlist. There is a cardigan.
Enya, everybody.
Cover.
Thank you.
There's a Cardigans cover of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. It was on Playstock Tower. I played it all the time.
Yeah, the 90s was just not a good cover time. Why is that, Conan?
CDs, smaller space for art, so you had to get across the album name and the band name with less space for actual art. So it was more like a functional period. And then people were trying to get, and then people were just into that. Like there's that one Celine Dion record that where it's just like, it could be like Don Henley or something. It was like a washed out picture. It's like, what the fuck am I looking at? Why is this, all right. Not everything can be like Misfits with a Crimson Ghost or something. It's a really hideous looking Beastie Boys EP that came out that year. It was pretty good.
Oh, was that, what was it called?
The hardcore Aglio de Oleo.
Root Down or something? Okay, no. That's Root Down was on that one?
No, that was on, I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. They had actually the one, I thought, they've had a couple good ones. They've had a couple bad album covers. I love the U.S. Maple record that came out this year, Long Hair in 3 Stages.
What about, are you a Porcupine Tree guy, by the way?
Am I a what? How dare you say that to me?
Are you... I just called you a name. Are you a Porcupine Tree fan, by the way?
Oh, it's all right. Shane, he used to play in Victory and Associates. He is super into that band and that guy. Yeah, it's cool.
Someone said Shakira's on the list. No, the playlist is one song from every album in the year of 1995 that I could possibly find.
Fine. Arch of Loaf, the VV record that came out that year, which I love, by the way, and that's example of. That's a band that I was like, I'm not going to listen to that. That's a dumb band name. I'm not going to listen to that. And then a friend of mine who worked at the same record store was like, actually, I think you'd really like that band. And I was like, all right, fine. So I'll check it out. So VV, which is just like, it's like a woman leaning up against a car. And it's like but not like sexily. It's like it's from the position of the car. Like it's just kind of a cool aesthetic. I was like, all right, I'll check this one out. And it happened to be like their best record. Like Arch of Loaf, not on the same level of Pavement, but they definitely inspired a lot of stuff, both good and bad. And that's kind of like, if you're going to get into Arch of Loaf for whatever reason, I think that's the one to get into. I think that one's aged very well.
King K says he hated it, no doubt, because of the cover. I loved the cover of Tragic Kingdom. That's a cover that I like. I thought that cover was cute and adorable. much like that band. That band is cute and adorable to me, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I have no guilty pleasure love for the first 3 No Doubt records.
There you go.
Coolio is the #1 single of 1995. Did you know that? Gangster's Paradise.
I believe that song was everywhere. Are you kidding me? And then there was what was it? Amish Paradise was a
Weird Al's version. Did I tell you that I didn't know those song lyrics, Conan, of Gangster's Paradise? I thought the hook was I'm being totally serious. I'm not making this up. I've said this before on the show for anyone that remembers, like a longtime listener, is I thought the lyrics were in the hook, Ben and Stanley lost their lives living in the gangster's paradise.
Poor guys. It's horrible for them. So tragic.
I always wonder, it's like, what? Those are 2 really random names.
Yeah, that's some. Well, there's that book. Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yeah,
that's the name of it. Is like just famous. You know, there's a bathroom on the right. There's a bathroom on the right. You know, totally. A rich tradition of it.
I fuck up song lyrics real bad, and I really thought, and I was singing it in the car with a friend, and he looked over at me, and goes, "What did you just say?
What did you say that again?"
Yeah, I'm like, I'm singing the song. He's like, "Did you just say Ben and Stanley?" I was like, "Yeah."
My dad used to throw in AC/DC all the time, and for years I thought it was Dirty Deeds and the Dunderchee, which I assumed was an Australian animal of some kind. I was like, Dunderchee? What is a Dunderchee? I was like, I don't know. It sounds cool, though, whatever it is. But it's really menacing. It's like a Dirty Deeds and the Dunderchee. Okay. I was also like 10, so cut me some slack. But.
Yeah, I had no excuse. I was
like, oh, the song is called Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So it would make sense for that. All right. Dunder Dirt Cheap. Thank you.
I think I was with you on that. Because I didn't understand what they were saying either.
Well, because those guys,
yeah.
Whatever, little goblins singing. Like, what? Come at me with bad enunciation. I love AC/DC, by the way. But I was wrong by that one for years. A shocking amount of years.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But if you just hear it and you're not like looking at like a record cover or like reading the liner notes or something, like, what the hell, man?
Dusty said it's like Googling dance hall lyrics and going, for
yeah, same.
I'm so bad
Vibes are the same
at lyrics because Spotify gives you the option to like see or all these streaming services gives you the option to see the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see the lyrics.
You don't care.
I don't want to. Right. I just want to sing the wrong in my car the whole time because the shock of saying shit wrong in front of people when you're young and you have to ride in cars with your friends, you're all singing along and everybody stops to stare at you because you just said Ben and Stanley lost their lives.
Ben and Stanley lost their lives. Oh, tragic. Tragic. Those two guys lost their lives.
Those like such random names, Coolio. Maybe they were your...
Jason's over here listening to ABBA. Feel the beat on the tangerine.
Fucking up karaoke all day long.
We built this city on sausage rolls. Damn, he's hungry.
Are you a Moby fan? I have to ask.
I want to hold your ham. I can do this all day, by the way. I do this for free. Thank you. I'm available for children's parties.
Nah, dude, I fucking just heard the song in a different language again. I've never really into Moby.
Sorry, okay.
There's something.
Yeah, Moby. Moby always kind of felt like, I guess I should be into this. I listened to it. I'm like, nah, I'm not.
So you didn't dig it either.
Nah, it's fine. Whatever. He's got like a couple songs. I'm like, that's good, and the rest of it's like, why is this so popular? I didn't. It's not for me. I didn't get it. I mean, I got it. I just didn't like it. Team Dresch. We got to shout out Team Dresch.
I don't know Team Dresch. Tell me about.
Oh, great. There's quote unquote Riot Girl, and there's whatever Team Dresch was doing, which was even more brutal and cool and kind of aggressive. Team Dresch is
real screamy, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's from that punk world, and they're I want to say queercore, I believe they called it, right?
They didn't call
No,
it.
they formed a no. That was one of those appendix, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like Riot Girl, queercore was like considered like a little more aggressive. Really good. They, I think, out of Olympia originally, and then Portland. Chainsaw Records was kind of a hub for those. Maybe I'm thinking of them being Portland because Chainsaw was Portland. But yeah, underrated. They actually just did a. I don't know if it's a one-off reunion show, but they did. It's anyway. Put it this way: Team Dresch is like true heads know, and like there's kind of a whole new generation of people got to see Team Dresch play live, and that's really awesome. So, but yeah, I want to give them a shout out because they're on there. And Team Dresch it's good. I mean, it's not like for me, Team Dresch is not like. I mean, I love Bikini Kill, but Bikini Kill is like, oh, those are great songs. I can listen to those records anytime. Team Dresch is like, no, I'm in a mood. I'm throwing this. I'm throwing on this angry lesbian band because they're awesome.
It was real scream. I remember correctly because remember a lot of this stuff. These playlists are not off the top of my head. There is a list
right.
that I found of every album that came out in '95, and I try to find a song from it if it's available. There's still stuff that's caught in label limbo. So I remember this is the band like Scream. I just remember Screamy Women. I was like, okay, yeah. I get it. Uh-oh, you disconnected.
You're not wrong.
Oh.
You're not wrong. There's definitely Screaming Women. How do you feel about Cypress Hill? I don't think we've ever talked about Cypress Hill.
We can save it for the hip hop show. I'm not really the biggest. When Kill a Man came out, I thought that was the most innovative, amazing rap song in the history of rap songs. And then after that, it's like they made music for smoke shops. You're on mute.
Got their ass.
Yeah. And I'm not, it's like, look, dude, it's been very successful for them. And I've never heard anything bad about anyone in the group as a human.
Yeah.
I would love to meet them. I'm sure they're fucking a bunch of fun. But it's just Kill a Man for me because I was just like, this is the fucking hardest song I've ever heard in my life.
I feel like it was, first of all, they made a really long documentary on them, like Showtime or HBO or something, not that long ago, and I kind of almost accidentally watched half of it.
How was it? Was it cool?
It was good enough that it kept my attention because I was like, I don't know if I care this much about Cypress Hill. Like, I had that, like, as I was watching, I was like, I've been watching this for like 45 minutes. Like, do I care about this? Like, I don't know. Held my attention, you know?
It's just that the beat for Kill a Man is the beat for Insane in the Membrane is kind of cool. They have.
Yeah. I mean, it's popular for a reason. Right?
That music, though, outside of Kill a Man to me is for a certain time. And going back and making this playlist, and I don't want to dwell on hip hop as we're talking about alternative music. A lot of the hip hop music that was major label stuff, I didn't realize how much of it was from New York and how much of it sounded the same. How many people released not their best records in like you said the other day, not their best records in ~95.
Pretty common, actually,
because of the success of '93 and '94 and even '91. Right, the people are buying records in mass. That you just have a lot of stuff like, oh, this is not. I don't dig it. It sounds like '96. Certain things got a little bit better, but I think for rap music, '93 is a kind of a peak year because it's 2025 and there's still people that sound like 1993.
That's true. And that's not something, well, first of all, I never thought about anything happening around that time being nostalgia. like I'd be like, why would anybody listen to something that didn't come out at that time? You know what I mean? It was because I was, whatever, high school and whatever. But it is interesting to see what percolates to the top. And all right, Rick.
Even the music we're talking about today, and I wanted to ask you about this. I don't know how you feel about this.
I only mentioned Cypress Hill specifically because I don't think I've ever talked to you about it. And I was like, I wonder how he feels about it. So
I mean, if you put it on, I wouldn't call you like a bitch. I'd be like, oh, that's what I get it.
Well, I don't think about Cypress Hill ever, like at any point in time, unless like I'm at, I don't know, like a freaking buying pants and suddenly like the one, a hit comes on.
Here is something you can't understand. Your motherfucking waistband.
I was just curious. We don't need to. Yeah, there's a whole. It's worth the genre. But I watched almost an hour of that documentary before being like, why am I watching this?
Was it interesting though?
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't know a thing about any of those dudes, and it was interesting. And it wasn't even like the early stuff. It was like, oh no, they've already had success. You know, the inside of the brain. That dude was like, I'm out. Oh, and now he's back, and now he's out again. And like, I was like, all right, well, cool.
Yeah, Sean Moon ain't going out like that is a dope song. Ain't going out.
Yeah, they got enough good tunes, so it's like, oh yeah, that's. I mean, they're some stuff you're like, all right.
I mean, they made.
I'm not going to name names,
off,
but Coolio.
Coolio is one of those things. It's like, you could only have happened in the 90s.
Right place at the right time,
right
man.
Place, fucking right time, ass motherfucker, right there. And he wrote it for all. He had a song. His first single. I don't want to derail the show. His first single was about like government services. The county line, and it's like and prison and shit, and he did it in this really jokey way, and I was like, there's no way anyone's gonna take this dude serious. And there's something a little buffoonish about what he does, because this is the rise of gangster rap. So let's shut up about that, because I could go off.
What was it? Was it on the same record? What was a Fantastic Voyage? Come along and ride on fantastic. Oh, 94. It Takes a Thief is the name of that record. Sorry, I didn't expect to be bringing up Coolio so much, but that's definitely one of the like
90s, right? This is how big hip hop had got.
And that's the Sons of George Clinton, Sons of Sly Stone rap hook, which is worth mentioning. I just watched that Sly Stone documentary, so this is very much.
Was it good?
It was real good. I highly recommend it. Even though
Questlove, yeah.
Well, yeah, didn't I actually think I mentioned this last episode, right? Didn't I? Yeah. No, whatever. Anyway, it's good. Watch it. It's if you have the vaguest interest in undersung musicians in history, you need to check it out. And
I believe it's probably really good because Questlove has an encyclopedic knowledge of music.
Right. Yes, I highly recommend it. Anyway, Blind Melon, wow.
So Blind Melon is the kings of one-hit wonders, and I don't care what anyone says, because I don't know anyone that sings anything other than the B-Girl song, like No Rain.
Which was, dude, that song, that video was, there's ubiquitous and there's whatever that was. Like that was just like, that was like injected in your blood. Like it was crazy to think about like how much Blind Melon was just
what a great, but it's what's weird about Blind Melon is in this moment where music is really being pushed forward in a way that we're not going to see again, because again, 2025 electronic music doesn't sound that much different than it does. I don't care what anyone says about Billie Eilish and insert electronic person today. Just go listen to the stuff from 95, 96. It's the same thing. Go ahead.
And 1995 me would never believe that 2025 me would be saying this, but Blind Melon is very interesting because thematically what they were doing was so different than the bummer vibes with big riffs of so
because they're playing Grateful Dead riffs. Blind Melon is the most fucking throwback band, because if also remember the fashion that is popular is there's a cross between urban streetwear, which is going to be big baggy stuff, with like cartoon figures drawn on there, and graffiti is popular.
Kind of hit that certain cul-de-sac of hippiness. It was, I believe, I worked at a record store. I know all about it. Yeah.
Flare jeans, right? People, they're not making flare jeans, so young people have to go to thrift stores to find.
I used to get so mad. Oh man, yeah. I got mad over some really arbitrary stuff back then, but I was like, ugh. But I'm sitting around in my scratch acid and birthday party T-shirts and like leather jacket, like judging everyone like an a-hole. So whatever.
Like listening to Blind Melon, because I listened to that record because I was like, there's got to be another song on here other than No Rain, and I'm like, nope. And then I put in this record and I was like, oh, what did they follow it up with? I was like, nope. It's just jam band shit.
There's nothing there. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm sure if you smoke the weed, it's great.
Oh yeah, if I was like high out of my mind, had like
Yeah.
bell bottoms, and
But that's another example. I think you're totally right. They're like just right band, right time. Coolio and Blind Melon very much of the same ilk.
that's the mashup that we didn't know we needed.
You didn't know you needed it, but here it is.
But I don't want to. Again, we don't want to make this the we.
That'd be like the mini mall version of the Judgment Night soundtrack.
That's the Disney. That's the Disney version.
It's the
of
theme park
Judgment
version. Blind Melon and freaking Coolio.
We're not in Indiana anymore, Coolio. What are we gonna do?
No,
Rap us out of this problem.
Oh yeah, this puzzle can only be solved by a rap about ham.
Right.
Okay.
Right? It's some stupid shit that he has to rap his way out of.
All right, move on. All right,
Move
next.
on. So Emmylou
Goes to
Harris.
Chomp.
Emmylou
Harris is good.
There you
All
go.
right, yeah.
Teenage Fan Club. Tell me about Teenage Fan Club. I don't know anything about it.
Teenage Fan Club. Yeah. I have many times. Teenage Fan Club seems like a band that I would be really into, doesn't it? And I've certainly tried over the years. I'm never mad at it, but also I feel like for me, I tend to like the bands kind of more influenced by them than I like them, and I don't know what it is. But Bandwagon S that came out in '91 was like pretty huge. Grand Prix, I mean, they put out a lot of records. It's all kind of fine, tuneful, but
Great name.
Like not,
I love the name.
Sure, yeah, not like I would say not dangerous music, but like not antiseptic either. Like they would definitely kick the hell out of Blind Melon. They did so they do the Sloan thing, where they give kind of equal playing time to each other's songs when they play live. I don't think they do on the records, but like they're Glasgow, they kind of started off noisier and more chaotic, and they got a little more. I want to say Bandwagon S was on Creation as well, so they were like part of that Creation world. I like them. I not my favorite, but I'll always thumbs up for Teenage Fan Club. Don Caballero 2, by the way.
You like Don Caballero?
Love Don Caballero. Don Caballero 2 goes hard. That is where quote unquote post rock decided like, hey, we're gonna take the best elements of like prog and like punk and heavy music, and we're gonna go, and it's gonna sound like this. And Don Caballero 2 is like one of the nadirs of that genre. I as a record, I like What Burns Never Returns. The one after that, probably better, but Don Caballero 2 is no joke. Like that is I'm surprised that some rapper didn't go back to Don Caballero 2 and like take some of those bars. Because that would be amazing. And people would be like, what is this? I've never heard this before. It's like, oh, it came out in 1995. Where were you? But, no vocals, kind of deeply inscrutable, like very much a record store band, like that kind of thing. So it's like, but they had a very, they had somewhat successful touring career on that circuit, along with like the fucking Champs and, bands like that. But it's Don Caballero 2 is probably underrated, I would say, and that's another one that there were so many bands that like Don Cab babies, where it's like they just they're doing it's this plus Don Caballero, right? Arguably, that band Minus the Bear was like a pop version of that, which is crazy because Homie was in Botch, and Botch was definitely not a pop version of that. But
no, but I do like. Those Seattle bands that you just named.
So if you like Botch, if you like Dillinger Escape Plan, it's all Don Cab too, man. That's where that's all coming from.
Brian
Blonde Redhead. Shout out to Blonde Redhead.
Can't talk about.
Was that on the no list?
Yep, it's on the list.
Okay, all right.
We have to do a whole show hip hop. We have to do a whole show on electronic music from '95. There's just
they're not electronic at that point though. 90.
Okay, you win. You get to discuss it.
Those first two records, the self-titled and La Mia Vida Violenta, which actually is the one that came out in 95. Actually, that came out in 95.
Actually,
yeah. It's like crazy New York atonal, like Sonic Youth DNA skrunk. And which is wild because like I think when people think of them now, they think of them as the like the later like kind of like super cool, moody, vibey, electronic kind of stuff. Not at all. It was flat out, near Swans level art rock skunk. And then Toko from Enon was in the band early on as well. It was when Vern, my dearly departed friend Vern from Unwound, produced their third record in '97, Fake Can Be Just As Good, and was like, actually, I'm going to play bass on these. Y'all need some bass. That like people were like, oh, because then you actually saw the songwriting come through between the brothers, because the two French brothers and the Japanese woman that's on there. That's when it kind of came to people's attention, like, oh, this is real. This is like super cool stuff. And then they did a record with Guy Picciotto from Fugazi, recording them. That was sort of like the next iteration of that. And then you have Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons, which would be like, if we were talking about 2000, would be one we would have to talk about, because that's where everything changes. But this is, I've heard, I bet people have like gone back to these early Blonde Red. Oh, I want to hear what were they up to before, thinking they're going to hit some like Portishead jams or something. No, not at all. It's going to sound like freaking Glenn Branca.
Do you want to talk about the Brian Jonestown Massacre?
Just watch that movie, Dig. It tells you everything you need to know. I find the Brian Jonestown Massacre to be kind of boring, frankly. Like it feels like something I should like, but I really don't. But it's a bummer. But is it? Because honestly, like certain parties in that band seem like real a-holes. But yeah, watch that documentary, Dig. Even if you don't like the Brian Jonestown Massacre or the Andy Warhols, because I really don't, it's a great movie. It's worth watching.
The Magnetic Fields. Are you a fan?
I do like the Magnetic Fields, even though they have one of the most insufferable fan bases of all time and is basically peak white people. But
damn, there's a lot of peak white people on this list. So that's you're really sticking your dick in the butter when you say that.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of ones that are great, and there's a lot of ones that are okay. That one too. I think Get Lost is most interesting because it's the one before 69 Love Songs, which is the one that comes out in '99, which is absolutely. Sorry / you're welcome, Robert. I don't know. Get Lost is cool. I was never a huge Magnetic Fields fan. I think the one after that comes out for it, which is actually like a 3-album thing. That's the only one you really need from them. I think it's the most notable too. Homie from Magnetic Fields also made the Lemony Snicket. He wrote those books.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
really?
There's a yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then ended up being movies and TV shows. Hey, I was gonna blast past Filter. Someone's like screaming about Filter. Okay,
Filter is gonna be on the metal and hard rock show.
Well, are you gonna mention the fact that the guy from Filter is brothers with the T-1000?
You can't forget that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't know for a long time. He played in 9 Inch Nails.
Oh yeah. He's it's a documentary. I watched it with Tony, ironically, when we were recording, and I think it's called Sideman or something.
Yes.
And it's just literally about, right? You know what I'm talking about? And it's like all these folks that played with these bands. You don't know their names, but
it's a great. It's on YouTube, by the way.
Except when they're like, and then everyone's like, oh, well, imagine if all these guys got together, made their own band to be amazing. And then they have these jams with them, and it's god awful.
You didn't like the jams?
No, I did not at all. Well, because there's no songs there, right? It's like, oh, they're great musicians at playing directionless BS. I don't like it. Look, man, save that for the fucking practice room.
Well, that's what it was. It was the fucking they were done, and it was like, look, this is why these guys are great musicians, because they're all jamming and soloing. That's what they're supposed to do.
Can I just say the fella that left Alice Cooper's band to go start Five Finger Death Punch? That's a major step down. Sorry.
The woman. No, there was a woman that was in.
There was a woman, but this is the.
No, you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Well,
the bass player guy.
I think it was a guitarist, and I think he was like touring with like I want to say Mandy Moore or something, and like Alice Cooper brought his daughter to see the show, and that's how like it's like the most hilarious.
The guitar player in Five Finger Death Punch is not a founding member, because my friend works for them, and I saw them. Okay. My friend was in town. You might even know this guy. I won't say his name on air, but he's a local guy. We used to be in a band together. And so
you're gonna make me look this crap up, aren't you?
yeah, he's not.
Go ahead, keep talking.
But he invited me out, and I'd never seen Five Finger Death Punch. But my buddy,
I mean, yeah, maybe it's fine. I don't know. Not really to my sensibilities, right? And I'm sure my music isn't to theirs, so whatever, it's fine.
but yeah. He the guitar player Andy James, I think his name is. Is that who you're talking about? Andy James?
I have no idea.
He's like a virtuoso cat. Like he's one of those.
It's called Hired Gun is the name of the documentary.
No, I think Hired Gun is great, dude. There's some fucking.
Oh, I absolutely recommend it. I was trying to.
Brad Gillis story about how he got the Ozzy gig.
It's worth it just to hear the stories if nothing else. But I think I specifically remember, and I may be wrong. Yeah, Kenny Aronoff's in it, right? Like Alice Cooper recruited that bro into his band because he saw. And I want to say it was like they were like the guy, he was like Mandy Moore's guitarist. It may not be Mandy Moore, but someone like Mandy Moore, right? And then he ended up being in Alice Cooper's band for years, and then he went over to Five Finger Death Punch. So I don't know.
Look, if you get a chance to get a regular gig, you take the regular gig.
Oh yeah, great. I mean, no one's looking for me. I've got my own built world, and I'm happy for it. But a
regular gig. Because I think there's a difference between people that I don't want to learn everybody's song. I just want to write music and create stuff.
Yeah.
People that are like, I'll learn everybody's song. I just love playing. I'll play with anybody as long as I can play. Maybe I'll do my own thing on the side, but I just want to play. Those are different kinds of beasts.
They're different skills. Yeah, and it's not. Some are built for one and not built for the other. And and that's fine.
Yeah. I have the utmost respect for the studio musician because I do think they bring a lot to the table that people don't talk about, especially when it comes to arrangements.
Right. Oh, sure. And not that I ever get asked to do it, but I totally have those kinds of skills, and I would be interested in doing it for the right people. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Like it's underappreciated at best. So you get to be a musician, but like you're not one that is known. Okay. So it's Jason Hook, and he used to be in Hillary Duff's band.
Oh, okay.
So Jason Hook from Five Finger Death Punch was in Hillary Duff's band. Alice Cooper took his daughter to see Hillary Duff play, saw that dude play, saw that he was like a rock dude, and that led him to, down the line, ask him to be an Alice Cooper.
You know what that means? If you're watching this show and you're playing in some like bar band and you're way better than everybody else, always rock out.
Yeah. Yeah, bring it. Bring it every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Always be badass. Don't not be badass because you never know who's in it. That's how many times have you met playing with you on tour with you?
Yep.
I've met people that I would never have met that were like, "Oh, dude, you were fucking great." Be badass.
Always give it your all, man. Every time.
Badass every fucking time.
There's no small shows, only small minds.
Dude, I remember playing to like 20 people in Bath, UK.
Yeah.
And this woman comes up to me. I see this man give this woman money. He's like, "Buy a shirt." He's this old white guy. And, so this woman comes up. She wants to buy a shirt, right? We sell a shirt. We're all happy, right? And the guy walks up and he goes, "You're gonna be a star. You're fucking awesome." And he walks away. They're like, "Do you know who that guy is?" I was like, "No." Like, dude, that was like the Clash's manager.
Oh shit, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
was fucking rad.
It's you never know, man. You got to be in it to win it,
Yeah.
And also, if you,
yeah,
exactly, and also, that's not what it's about. But if you are doing something, and again, it doesn't work for everything, right? If Elliott Smith had homie from At the Drive-In kicking off the walls and stuff, that'd be a little like jarring.
I'd want to see that though.
I mean, honestly, as I'm saying that, I'm like, that sounds badass, actually. It's like one dude holding it down and then like a tornado of thorns, just going.
He did a backflip and then he went into this fucking A minor. What the fuck, dude?
I definitely have not seen that. So bands,
I've never seen 3-5-7 like that before.
but I think people, especially these days, you can see authenticity. You can see when somebody really means it, when someone's just like, whatever, this is, this crowd isn't big enough for me to, whatever. I mean, I do the same show. I play the same show no matter where the hell we're at. Sick? Well, it don't matter.
That's the fun of it all, right? That's the fun of it all.
Should be.
The fun of it all. I've never really liked this band, but
311.
I was playing the play. Look, I turned my music on. I went back into bed because I woke up super early, and I'm sitting here, and that song came on, and as it comes on, I'm like, this sounds familiar. And it came on, and I found myself singing along with it, and I was like, do I not like them, or is it just that song was played that much in this era?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like a car jingle or something.
Yeah. What is it with this band?
Well, it's interesting. 311. This record came out again when I was working the record store, and it was. I was like, oh, okay, like. It's kind of like really glossy Fugazi with like Chili Peppers vibes somehow. I didn't quite understand. Like, oh, I got it, but I was like, I don't know this is. But then I was like, some of these songs are kind of catchy, and I really didn't think about it that much. But it like steadily just kept selling and selling and selling. And what I've noticed now, younger cats love 311, love it, and they
shit ever,
dude, and they. Like unabashed. It's not like a guilty pleasure. Like, oh, 311's great. I'm like, what?
I don't Amber is the color of your energy and shit like that. Like, I get it, but there's something about this music, and this is what I think, and I wanted to hear what you have to say about this. New metal for me, and a lot of the bands that come out of that scene in this year, we're not going to get too much into 95. Even some of the alternative stuff, you can tell these guys were killing it live in an A&R song.
Totally, right?
Yeah, 311. This song, that is a live song that you play at a club, because when you hear it on the
and it rips,
and like they're like that sounds retarded. But when you hear it live, you're probably like, oh fuck, what is this?
Because think about So, and first of all, can I say these guys have 14 albums out? By the way, crazy. I mean, that's more than me. That's saying a lot, but. I didn't care for the the production. Really, it was not to my sensibilities. It's that kind of glossed up production that I feel like anything that was like rock, funk, reggae, whatever hybrid is like all had around that
because
time.
They had tight. This is. I wonder if this is why the snares were so tight, and it almost sounded like hip hop or reggae snares when the drums hit.
Sure. Absolutely.
But when the rock part comes on, there's something about it that doesn't mesh well.
But if you have not that you ever would have done it at this time, but if you had like Steve Albini record them or something, right? Like it'd be like, oh yeah, maybe that would just go. In a perfect way, there's some hashtag genius put up the Blood Sugar Sex Magic record without Anthony Kiedis.
As an instrumental?
And I was surprised by how many songs, credit Tony Ash, was like, it just sounds like Fugazi. Like this is like the beds are good. It's just that I can't stand. It's like, all right, that could miss me on that.
Doing that goofy
shipper slap like, oh god, fuck off. Never heard 311 till today. I'm sorry, / you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it goes to show you that like there is such a fine line between Sublime. Oh man,
was it 95 that 40 ounce to freedom? No, 40 ounce is 91, I think. And then
they had a record come out that same year, and I remember because I could easily.
And the living's easy. That one.
Anytime somebody came in to the record store to buy Sublime, I had them clocked immediately. I'm like, Sublime. That like I had them. I was like, all right, there you go. Take it back to the frat house, bro.
I want this. Okay, this is how I feel about Sublime. I remember driving I was delivering paint in like 95, 96. Right. And I had this long delivery drive, I think somewhere up north. And I was on, it was Live 105 was on.
Oh, Live 105, sure.
And Summertime came on. That summertime and the living's easy. And I remember thinking, this is dope. And it kept coming on. It was like nonstop, right? And I thought, oh, this Sublime band is cool. Eventually, you save your little $180 paycheck, and I got that record, which is, is it self-titled?
The self-titled one was 96. That's the one that's got What I Got and
yeah. Okay. Date Rape also came on the radio.
right, which is
So I was like,
yeah.
who is this fucking fun ass band? And then as I got older, Conan, I met Sublime fans, and then of course there was like Sublime ripoff bands. Do you remember the Planting Seeds? Did you ever meet the Planting Seeds people? That guy was kind of a douche. Remember that guy?
Yeah, it's
Singer?
not great. Yeah, I was gonna say you're getting traumatic memories dredged up for me here, but yeah.
All the shows you played in Concord.
No, I like that's like sensing. You know, when an animal senses their natural enemy, that's like what that was.
Dude, those motherfuckers would bring hell of people out.
Oh, I know. There's tons of people with bad taste. It's great.
Oh, they. This is you right now.
And I'm definitely seated in
allegiance to losers is not like you.
seated in seat H8 yet again.
I not gonna lie, dude. Sublime is a fun band, but they have fans that still wear flare jeans. Like right now, there's someone with their flare jeans and white shell toes.
Yeah.
They're rocking it right now.
Of course they are. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Sunglasses on the back of their head.
So I think in this, but you know, I don't know. I don't think I have time to open up the haterade on them. Like, it's not for me. But like, whatever. I guess they aren't hurting anyone unless they are. I don't know.
I mean, they can't.
Well, they say that band somehow seems to still be on tour. Like we got Sublime with Rome.
What's interesting about that band is they suffer the same thing like Nirvana suffers, which is a singer died pretty young, but they never really had a hit until he died.
Yeah,
and so people go back and listen to the stuff they didn't care about, and then anything he recorded. There's a live album, Conan, of Sublime, where you can tell no one's in the room because you could hear the dishes being washed at the bar.
And I kind of dig that, actually. That's kind of awesome.
Told me on the band, I was like, dude, you're playing a show that I know, and you made a record. It probably is platinum right now, where I can hear, if you listen, you can hear people like, who's this band?
So that makes me like them more now that I hear that. That's awesome. I'm not going to listen to it, but good for them. It's
So this is the most real shit ever. Robert Booth. Shout out to Robert Booth. Sublime and Andre Nicotina is an Antioch soundtrack. Yes.
There it is.
There's a white dude right now with a restraining order. Right now. Cocoa County across this
unpaid child support payments.
Oh, don't let him get caught because he's got some warrants. Right now, it's like, oh, Sublime is my chill shit, but I'm not go play that. Right now, stuck in 2006. This man is with his baby mama.
You got White Zombie up in here.
Yeah, I don't like
this. This is the one that they have like 3 good songs probably, but what's crazy is they started off as like a Butthole Surfers style, like deeply chrome, inscruptable art rock band. Then they had that huge song with it. Yeah. I was talking about that with Randy Randall of No Age when we played in San Diego, and I was like, you know what, respect, like that is a good riff, and it's like, and what I realized is his drummer played in Red Ants. I don't know if you remember Red Ants. I like Red Ants a lot. I forgot that like she played in Red Ants and they toured with White Zombie. And I said some cunty thing about Rob Zombie, who's been a dick to my friends, and she just started laughing. It's like, yeah, that about sums it up. Okay. And I was like, oh shit, they went on tour together. So basically, by all accounts, everybody in that band is great except for Rob Zombie, who's a prick.
I can see
this is the one. But this is the one that's got more human than the human man, more human than the human man. Where it's like, all right, you're just gonna repeat that for like 1,000 years, huh?
Look,
but it's got a cool like reverse riff, like it's
whoever was coming up with the riffs from that band, they actually had some dope shit. It's just there's something about that dude's Cartman voice. And like, I don't get it. If Thunder Kiss comes on, I'm fucking rocking the hell out. It's a hell of a riff. But we can't talk. That's too metal. We can't talk about that. We gotta
Jay Younger is I think he was the riff smith in that band. But like, yeah, it's hard. And then people like just equate White Zombie with like Rob Zombie's solo career and whatever, which must be a bummer for like Sean Salt, who genuinely is like super cool.
I'm sure when the checks come, she's like, oh yeah, whatever.
She plays in a cool surf band. I think it's called Famous Monsters, if I remember correctly.
Is she still in New Orleans?
I don't know.
Did you know her?
But no. But I mean, she's played with some. I feel it's outside the realm of possibility. She briefly played bass and toured with the Cramps. I remember that.
No shit.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I feel like if you tour with the Cramps, you have a horrible drug problem. Like the Cramps, Jason, why don't you do drugs? Nah, I listen to the Cramps. Like I actually listen to it, so that's enough.
It's enough. It's close enough.
Yeah, I'll watch a live, concert of the Cramps. That's enough.
It's as close as you want to get to Odin.
Yeah, like you listen to that band.
Kid Congo, he got in and out. Well,
but don't you feel like anyone that fucked with that band? It's like that was like your test. Not even that you could play the songs. It's like all these songs are easy. Just can you shoot up, and then play the veins in your dick and be okay to play? Sure. I don't know. Oh, you sound like you're our guy.
You got a Dismemberment playing on here. Their first record, which is just exclamation point. And that record's okay compared to like what they did afterwards. It's like definitely baby pictures, but definitely that record is a precursor to the whole world. Oh yeah, is Filth Big 1985? We'll talk about that.
I don't think I've gotten that far because, dude, look, Conan. I want you to look at this.
Well, hold on. Let me finish that thought, which is that Dismemberment plan.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
That like kind of dominates the early 2000s with Emergency and I, and that whole DeSoto Records plus Southern Records like Les Savvy Fav, et cetera, a time that's hideously undocumented in music except for the New York stuff like around the Strokes. So I don't think exclamation point is it's weird, man. So that's one of the reasons why I was trying to hook you up with Travis from Buddyhead, because they're making a Buddyhead documentary. And they're going to be like, just by nature of that.
I told you. I said bring them on.
Yeah. It's cool. They're actually, because that's going to be like a lot of documentation of bands that kind of lost the time. So I think that's interesting. More interesting than that Dismemberment Plan record, which is only okay. But Filth Pig, I saw the Filth Pig 95 tour with Jesus Lizard, actually.
Oh, word.
And that was, if I remember correctly, I don't remember. Ray Washam of Scratch Acid, Poison Ivy is the coolest chick. That's my correction of that. The coolest. If there's anybody cooler, bring them to me. I want to meet them. But so that time period, Ray Washam of Scratch Acid and the unfortunately named Rape Man was playing drums for him, live drums. It was and ironically, I'm having him on the show again in like 2 weeks. First time I had him on was like when the show started like 11 years ago. But I think Filth Pig is actually an underrated record. There's a Bob Dylan cover on there. He does a cover of Lay Lady Lay that's actually really good. And there's a couple good tunes. I have a t-shirt from that show, and it was like $40, and this is like 1995 money, so I really wanted it. but Bill Rieflin and Ray Washam are both on the record, and underrated. I don't generally speaking, my time with Ministry is sort of like Psalm 69 and after sort of like miss me for the most part, but it's enough. It's just enough for me. But like, good for them. They did a whole tour with Melvins like 2 years ago, and I was gonna go, but a friend of mine died like the day before, so I was
Jesus Christ
not in the mood. Yeah,
Sean Moon, we're gonna have a whole metal show. I'm gonna try to get Chris Contos on because I missed him for 94, which would have been the 30-year anniversary for Machine Head's first record. So we will do a whole metal show. And I'm also trying to get some new metal people from that era. So Well, look, dude, I know you don't like cool shit.
So you know what? I didn't even mean to make that noise. That was a natural
that's your
reaction.
natural
Sorry.
reaction.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong guy to be on that show. So
You're not on
it's
that
all good.
show. You're not.
I don't worry. I'm wouldn't come. I'd be washing my hair that day. What is it? Oh, yeah, I'm washing my hair that day.
Bon Jovi, we're not going to talk about.
Some cheese dick fucking Bon Jovi. Wasn't there? Didn't that have like they were trying to do like an alt hit or something on there or something? I can't remember.
Hair metal is over, and Bon Jovi is one of those guys that definitely knows how to clam on to a hot thing, and so by '95, he's kind of a megastar. And
right, yeah.
It sounds like megastar music, right?
I'm reading about it now. This is more information I ever cared about for this Bon Jovi record. We'll skip it.
Yeah,
but we got to talk about the rentals, which is like, hey, did you like Weezer, but wish that they were whiter and nerdier? Great.
You said whiter, like the color?
Oh, then yeah, whiter as in more white music. But the Rentals album, which has the so Matt Sharp was the bass player for Weezer, and he left for a while, and then he came back, and whatever, and good on him for all that. Oh yeah. With Ray Washam, yes, I would absolutely. Like Ray Washam's like one of the most underrated drummers in rock and roll. So yes, I mean I don't know if I would have anything to play with him, but that Friends of Peace song that you have on there, huge hit. And this is so interesting that the band at the time, Petra Hayden of the really underrated band That Dog, which is like just really, really, I know it's like not an amazing band name, but Anna Warrenker, who was the daughter of Lenny Warrenker. And I know what I said. She's from that band, and that's just like pop perfection, like just like huge shimmering hooks kind of deal. And it's basically the guy that was like the biggest kind of Cars dude in Weezer deciding to like make a synth heavy alt pop record, kind of new wave record, and it works. And I clown on him, but the like look, it was big for a reason. and I'm firmly of the opinion that anything with Petra, who's just an astounding harmony singer as well, it's gonna be cool. Like it's just like it's hard to get mad at. You know what I mean? It is like peak white people music, though. I mean, let's get real, but in a good way. Like and they've put out other records. Actually, shoot, I think if I remember correctly, I'm gonna check my facts on this here. But that one, yeah, Maya Rudolph was in the Rentals, like early on.
Was she really?
She was. He said he was in the Rentals.
I know she was a singer in a band. I didn't know that was the band.
It was the goddamn Rentals, is what it was, and she's even it's kind of wild. It's kind of Hey Old Timers, the hot dog video. So and I weirdly at the time, I was like, oh, cool. Matt Sharp has like a band that sounds like the Cars. Right on. That's cool. I actually think it's aged pretty well. Like I don't throw it on or nothing. In fact, one time I was mad. One time Replicator was on tour and the Rentals were on tour. We were playing the same cities at the same time. It's like everybody's at the motherfucking Rentals show, not at our show. Not that there was like any crossover at all, but it was just a fun thing to yell about, But because we were always the venue they were playing would be like 2 blocks away or something.
Ooh,
like
that's the
away,
worst.
and I was like, all right,
That's the worst.
Then they were like playing it,
We're all the cool
giveaway
kids
at the local rock radio station. But I'm not mad at them. I mean, I think they're still going. It's just that that's another one. Like, why is Friends of P huge? Well, it's a hit. It's like an undeniable pop hook. Like, it's immediately because it's got the kind of fuzzy bass kind of sound that was still kind of new in music at the time, but it had like just gigantic pop hooks. And I don't respect to Rentals. And Sean brings a good point. The video's hilarious. It's really good. Like you should check it out. Like you'll get a window into, again, wider than Weezer. But like it's saying a lot. But it's I'm not mad at it. Like I would be interested.
There's bands I don't like from this era just because people that I went to school with that I was like, that guy's.
Yeah, miss me with that. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know exactly. Yes, sir.
And I now that I have all this access and I can be like, let let me listen to this.
Well, and sometimes you just gotta like, I
Grow
don't,
the
I don't
fuck
know what
up.
I was mad at. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Grow
Blow up,
the fuck
exactly.
up. Yeah, there's that too. Grow the fuck up.
Also, who cares? Like, we live in a hell world now. Like, what? I'm gonna have a mad on about some record that I barely listen to.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
whatever.
the last thing I'm gonna be mad at. I'm like, either I'm gonna listen to it or I'm not gonna. You know what's calmed me down about music more than anything, Conan?
What's that?
I was thinking about you today about this. Having this show
Uh-huh.
is the shit people get mad about. Is it like the state of the world?
Oh no,
It's,
no.
you're like, did you know so and so said such and such? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So then I
doesn't
listen to
bother
music
me.
and it's like, I just want to listen to Steely Dan again.
Right. Exactly. You get some enjoyment out of the tunes, and isn't.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get mad at that. I don't have
fine,
to listen
man.
to what you fucking
No
hate.
one's forcing you to listen to it. Exactly.
The radio's dead. So anyone that's mad about something that they don't have to watch or listen to,
Yeah.
you chose to be mad at that. Think about that for a second.
Choose. Yeah, go talk to the complaints department, which isn't this show.
Yeah, like you chose to be mad at something that you didn't have to be mad at. That's amazing to me. We literally grew up like, the radio sucks. It just keeps force feeding me all this shit.
God, I know. I was so mad about it all the time. I had so much energy to be mad at stuff.
Right? Remember saying that? Now you're like, I can watch or listen to whatever the fuck I want to listen to when I want to listen to it. I can't get mad about anything now.
Yeah. I was never the one shouting sellout, but that was definitely it was shouted a lot. That Siouxsie record's okay.
Hold on.
There.
We are not going to skip.
Oh, God damn it.
Incubus. Yeah. You can fucking tuck your nuts.
I thought you're doing like I thought you were doing like
They're
a
not
new metal
on that show because they're not heavy enough, Conan.
God damn it. Fine, Incubus.
I know you don't like the Incubus because the singer's too hot.
I'm noted as saying this, yes.
Let's just face it. You're one of those guys that's like, I can't like a band. It's like Prince. You're like, I think that guy's too hot.
The record is called Enjoy Incubus. That's the name of the record?
It's an EP.
Okay.
I think they're maybe fresh out of high school when they do this. And so they sound a lot.
The first one's called Fungus Among Us.
Yeah. Fungus Among Us, dude.
Dude,
They
real,
wanted
or is
to
somebody hacking their Wikipedia and just
No,
putting up
they
random
wanted
shit?
to be Mr. Bungle. They wanted to be Mr. Bungle so bad.
Wow.
And when you this is back to what I was saying, the early new metal stuff, really, you can hear that this was stuff that was played live back when people went to go see live shows. I'm sure an A&R saw them play, where they're from, outside of Calabasas, LA somewhere, in front of like 200 people at the Whiskey. And they were all jumping up and down, and they were like, this band needs a deal.
Enjoy Incubus. All right. Well, yeah, Disco Volante comes out this year, and it's funny because people just like, no, just do more of like the circus metal from the first one. But then like later on, people are like, oh, it's a masterpiece. But it also like starts with what everyone I knew in high school is dead, which is like, all right, hey everybody, here's 8 to 9 minutes of harsh noise.
Yeah.
Start off the record with it.
You know who else is a big Bungle fan that I didn't know? And I don't know if they come out this year. I don't remember if it's on this. Korn.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, I was
no.
That's pretty apparent. Although, like,
I knew there were Faith No More fans. I didn't know there were huge Bungle fans.
Yeah, no, that makes sense if you think about it.
They call chords. They play the bungle chord. They're like, oh, we hit a bungle chord right here. I was like, oh, word.
Well, and that's Trey. Trey's a real interesting guitar player. I mean, my favorite bungle record is California, which is like that big pop record, but it's also even as a big pop record, it's super weird. Mm-hmm. But it's that first bungle record is very influential, usually for the wrong reasons. But like it's whatever. You don't control who listens to your stuff. It's good. Anyway.
Oh no! Bungle's popular in Australia. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think Spain. There's a few like European countries.
Is the first Boris record the pink one?
Oh God, you're asking the wrong guy.
Okay, since I'm a Boris, and I found that band late in life, and I fucking found them and fell in love.
Yeah, I thought Amplifier Worship was that's the first one that came to my attention for. No,
is that the one where the chick's on the cover and she's like laying on the ground?
That's the one. No, that's what's like it's like a frog or something.
I don't know.
No, I guess their first record is '96. Okay.
Is it the pink one?
So it is not the pink one. I'm looking.
Okay.
I think you're thinking of maybe Heavy Rocks.
Yeah, that's what that one's called. Yeah.
They're good. I mean, I saw them live with Melvins. It was good. I'd never seen them, so they were cool. But I never vibed on it too much back in the day. But I also I was aware of them. I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
This is the most 90s thing ever. I remember Nas, AZ, and Foxy Brown on a hip hop magazine with the title "What the Fuck is Alternative?" And I want to ask you that as we're an hour and a half in. I meant to ask you that originally. What is alternative in 1995?
Yeah, alternative to what? It's like pretty much mainstream music at this point. I mean, I always thought, well, and then they call it modern rock, and it's like, well, what happens when it's not modern anymore, though? I don't know. Like, it's a term that was an industry term, right? That they made up a chart for, and
that's true. Yeah, an industry term.
And I think that people were right to be annoyed by it, and people were right to want to have something to put into like the leader card of it wasn't the same as these 80s rock bands or 60s rock bands or 70s rock bands. It was different. It should be categorized. What's indie rock? I mean, really now what's indie rock? But
I hate that term.
It's stupid term.
Two things that pissed me off: indie rock, and I was like, I thought that was people that literally didn't have a deal. It's a style of music, which is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, that's Pavement, right? We're talking about Pavement. We're talking about Arch of Loaf. That's indie rock. Okay, well, cool. I now know what that term is meant to mean, but why is it called that? It's stupid. Almost every term is intelligent dance music. Okay, California could be the soundtrack to a horror movie. I agree. I like California.
What is intelligent dance music? Yeah, no. Siouxsie and the Banshees. I always liked her music, and now that I can actually get it without buying it. I listen to it way too much.
And there's a and this is a solid record. I remember when it came out because I was a big fan of
the one in
Cities in the Dust. That's a great tune. Yeah, the one with the one that kind of sounds like a big black riff or something. That one goes pretty hard. Again, I'm surprised a rapper hasn't sampled that at some point. I guess people are out of the habit.
Yeah, I think Biggie sampled.
Did he really?
He sent what is it? What is it? Oh God, I can't think of the name of the song with the drum beat.
Oh, you might be right. You might be right.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, is it 93?
Yeah.
That's dude. Alexander Herbert.
That's amazing.
I want to quote Alexander Herbert, my friend who comes on this show, and we're supposed to be writing this book together, and it's my fault why it's not done. And he said, by the end of the Pistols, punk is really dead. Whatever it was supposed to be dies with the end of the Pistols. And he says, look at what Siouxsie did. She did something altogether different because it was dead. And I was like, ooh, that's a really like that. I got chills when he said, I was like, ooh, that's good.
Hence why post-punk became a term. You have The Cure, you have Birthday Party, Gang of Four, you have all these bands that are doing these things that are coming from the same place, but they're going different directions with it. And
because
it just so happens
they're done. And they're like, they saw it.
Like, what else are you gonna do? What else? And
they were inspired by the people to start a band a year before. And then they see the implosion and go, we have to do something different.
We have to do something different. And so a lot of times with the Banshees, like, and also even the Creatures, like, it kind of put one foot into like the dance pop arena, right? And that's nothing wrong with that. But that's she was active that whole time. I mean, that "Kiss Them for Me" song is 91. That's the whatever record they did in 91. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, that drum beat was just that drum beat is all over hip hop and R&B, and we can have a whole nother show when we do the hip hop show about how by 95 hip hop becomes what black music will be, and all the R&B is just hip hop samples from like a year or two before.
Right, yeah.
And literally people that are making like really interesting house and dance music get pushed out of the black music genre. So we can have a really interesting conversation about that when we do the hip hop show. Don't know when that's going to be.
In the indeterminate future.
Yeah.
But I think but the Rapture, solid entry in the Siouxsie and the Banshees catalog. Sounds like a Siouxsie and the Banshees record, right? The Lollapalooza documentary is super interesting because Susie and the Banshees jumping on for that is like, for them, it's like early on, it's like a
Yeah.
legitimacy. Oh, Susie and the Banshees are on here. Oh my God, crazy! Like, because it's like, because they're thinking about it, that's like, she's around and doing it, and she's like, elder stateswoman, and it's no, this is real. Like Susie and the goddamn Banshees are on this tour with us. Like this is because it was so experimental that again, all these people we think of as superstars now, like they weren't road tested, they weren't, or they were road tested maybe, but not like for something like this that like isn't going to work.
No,
so it's worth
watching. You know what? Speaking to your point, watching 9 Inch Nails melt down because like destroying their gear. I was like, oh,
and Reznor's like throwing a shit fit about it and stuff, and it's interesting. That Lollapalooza, I think it's on like Showtime or something. It's on Paramount Plus, but watch the first couple of them. Don't get into the modern stuff on it. Like the last,
it's fucking. It becomes all these new documentaries. I hate to say this. I will say the hair metal one didn't do this, thank God. But all these new documentaries are commercials. They're just commercials.
But I think you're onto something with that. Almost all of them, which is one of the reasons why I like the Sly Stone one, because it definitely was not.
Well, he's not dead. He's just not doing shit, right?
No, exactly. Yeah. There's more I could speak on with that, but I highly recommend it. John Cale, he produced and he recorded on that Rapture record. Yeah, absolutely, and it's good. I mean, like, what does it say? It's good. Like, it was one of those things where Siouxsie was an active artist that, for the most part, when people think of her stuff, they're thinking of the early '80s stuff. But she has more vital hits than people give her credit for.
She's more Madonna than people want to give her credit for being.
Sure.
And I think it's because
Goth Madonna.
Yeah, because she kind of existed in the goth world, but
or maybe Madonna's more like Siouxsie, because Siouxsie came first. Yeah, right.
I think Madonna had no idea who that woman was until probably '84. But I think with Siouxsie and the Banshees, she kind of is part of the creation of what we're going to call goth music.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's where she wants to hang her head. And
no one wants to be like tied to like, oh, you do that, unless
because she's part of a scene of there is no scene, right? She's part of that early, like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, in the most purest of fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, and does this really pretty shit in the 90s that's really glossy and awesome. And I don't know, has she released a record recently?
Siouxsie? I know she plays that thing that they do in LA where it's like all the new wave bands and whatnot.
What is that?
What is it called? Like, it's got some freaking.
How famous do I have to be to date Siouxsie from Siouxsie and the Like,
I don't know. Well, just put it out in the world, like.
Yeah, like, hey, anyone that, I'm sure there's someone that's teching for that band right now. Like, how famous are you? I'll fuck a black guy. I don't mind. I've fucked a few in high time. Like, that would be pretty awesome.
That sounds like song lyrics, by the way.
Oh, Jason's Secrets.
Yeah, I think 95 is the last Siouxsie and the Banshees record. I know she did do a Creatures record.
Someone says
really
10 years
good.
ago.
Yeah. But I forget when that was. Probably. I mean, I believe you.
Because you know who she
like
reminds me of?
2003 or something. But that's
She reminds me of the chick from Superman 2 with the bad Supermans.
Oh yeah.
That woman, fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah. She could get.
Oof. Oof. Bad Superman crew, dude. Oof. Bad Superman lady and Siouxsie. That's like, man, you're talking my life.
Whips optional, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to say here. I don't know. But Cruel World is the festival that I was thinking of. Cruel World.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
I've heard of that. Yeah, someone says Lenny famous. Who's Lenny? Like Lenny famous. Who? Lemmy or Lenny? I don't know. Like
Lenny. That sounds like a dude's name. Oh yeah, it's Lenny Famous. He's a killer bass player.
Lenny, he played on that third Motorhead record. You don't know.
Oh,
Lenny
you don't know
Famous.
that Lenny Famous?
Fuck, you don't know Lenny Famous. Conan, who the fuck is Morphine? I have no idea who Morphine is.
Oh yeah, Morphine's interesting Interesting case, because the instrumentation for Morphine is kind of unique. Like they were bringing in a saxophone in it, so it was like a saxophone, drums, and bass, and really idiosyncratic kind of elements of blues and jazz, kind of in that indie rock world, but also like they were on DreamWorks. I think I don't think for this record, but this record that you have on here, that's like the one like most people know had the cassette for. It was I think it was just called Yes, right? Yeah, Yes, and it's like their third record. Yeah, they were just like they were like the quintessential record store band. It was like they're kind of vibey. Elements of jazz, but coming at it from a perspective of modern rock, and I think I want to say the bass player had like a 2-string bass, like he had like a kind of wild setup.
I've seen that. Have you seen people selling that recently? The 2-string bass?
No. I mean,
yeah, it's all over the place.
I remember the guy, the sax dude would. Like he had a thing where he'd like play 2 different saxophones at once, like a baritone sax, and like a bass sax, and like. But the thing is, it was kind of it was kind of deep, kind of laid back and croony, but kind of like also like intense in a way too. Like they were. It's interesting because they never had a hit. Oh, there. Okay, I. By the way, I'm not looking at the chat, so I came up with that like weird remembrance on my own. It wasn't something where I was like harvesting the chat for information, just so y'all know. But they had a solid run of putting out like good records. They're just like good. Like I've had people that are like not music people, like, oh, you heard this band Morphine? And it's like, how do you know about what? How do you know about that? Like, and I think one of the reasons why is just because people have a mindset that when they hear certain instrumentation, they think of a certain genre, and so when it's kind of taken out of that genre and applied differently, that people look at it differently. But yeah, Morphine's a cool band. There's a lot to love there. I would be interested actually to go back and re-listen to Morphine now. I don't listen to them that often. I know some of the guys did I think it's like members of Morphine or something along those lines, and kind of brought it back for a while. But I think the drummer died.
Yikes!
Like pretty soon after COVID. I want to say it was cancer or something. One of the drummers. They had 2 drummers. I don't remember which one was, but
what do you know about Tinder Sticks?
Tinder Sticks. I mean, Tinder Sticks is like seduction music for like the cool chicken accounting. You know what I mean? and like I to be clear, I mean that as a compliment.
Damn, I wish we could play without the show getting pulled right now. Damn. Tinder Sticks is Conan's nickname in them streets. Oh shit. Tinder Sticks Neutron, he's still your chick.
Yeah, I mean they're cool. I want to say there's a they did the soundtrack for something that I was like, what? Tinder Sticks are on that? Yeah, it's kind of like a less intense Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds for sure, and it's cool. It's vibey. Like it's I wouldn't say Tinder Sticks they're not too challenging, but yeah, like I said, I stand by my assessment. Good. There's some movie. It's like I was like, say what? Their music was in that I was like, is this freaking Tinder Sticks? Like what's happening here?
Jerobe.
What? Jarbo. Okay, I thought I said Jerome. I was like, who's Jerome? I don't know who that is. That's like
Jerome is down with Ben and Stanley, by the way.
I panicked for a second. What
Jerome
are you talking about?
was injured. He did not lose his life, but he was there when Ben and Stanley were shot in the gangster's paradise.
Yeah. So Jerome, that's right. Yeah. Sacrificial Cake. That's like her second Jarbo record. Yeah. What's there to say? It's good. She was on Protonic. I think we talked about it at length a couple years ago. Whenever she put out the reissue of all her stuff. What is that called? You think I would know, huh? But those reissues are cool because it kind of splits up some of those weirder releases that are like kind of harder to find and whatnot, and they're presented nicely. Jarboe's cool as hell. I mean, she's known for her work in Swans, of course, but she's a really underrated singer and musician in her own right. Fascinating artist. I would love to talk to her again sometime. And Sacrificial Cake's a good record. I mean, it sounds like Jarboe. If you know what that means, then you know what that means. It's Gerard's on that one. I think it is some mixing, and Beck plays guitar or something.
Are you a fan of Starflyer 59?
Fine. I've never given them that much thought. I'm trying to remember.
I have no idea. I put it on here. I couldn't tell you what it sounded like.
Yeah, they're like a SoCal alt band. Like it was fine. I mean, they were kind of initially sort of a shoegaze deal, and I think they kind of sounded more pop in the end. I can't really speak to it. Scratch or Stitch now. Melt Banana goes. Like
Melt
I
Banana
remember
is
Tip Top. The Tip Top in San Francisco. I was at a show with like maybe 7 to 9 other people, one of which was Mike Patton, and we were all there to see Melt Banana. And but that's a band that like trying to get into them with like the records, you'd be like, what the hell is going on?
If you play Melt Banana on your first date, you're not getting it.
It's the opposite of Tinder Sticks, yeah.
Tinder Sticks, yeah. If you're like, oh, I got this great playlist from '95, and it's like, oh, that's
I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Who is this man?
Yeah, you're just gonna ask to leave. They're just.
I think they're amazing. Obviously, Tom Morello thinks so as well because he ripped off a bunch of stuff from Agata. And
sure, those people love it. And look what they did with it. It's a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
If you put on there's a few bands. If you put on the first date, you're trying to test this person.
You try to see what kind of person they are. Yeah. I get it.
Go in this potential thing, and if you put on, you could put on the Dillinger Escape Plan's first album before you could put on Melt Banana.
Oh, absolutely. And Melt Banana is another thing, and I mean this is a compliment. You know exactly who it is the second you hear it. Oh, Melt Banana scares the hose almost as much as my own banana.
Like, there's nothing you can do to scare your date more other than come in a trench coat.
So that said, like, they're iconoclastic, right? It's a band that you know it immediately. You hear it, you're like, I know exactly who that is right now. And we are listening to Melt Banana. And as a live experience, amazing. We played with them in Replicator.
Oh, wow. How was the show?
We did support them. Great. They were awesome. Crowd was far more open-minded than I expected because there's no hot Japanese chicks in this band. So just so you know.
Was the Locust there as well? Or did you just go full hog and have everybody crazy?
No, I never played with the Locust. I like them a lot, but never played with them. But yeah, but the Melt Banana crowd was they were very nice to Replicator. That was cool.
What do you know about Space Hog?
I don't know why that band name always pissed me off. I can
see why. It's stupid.
It's like come up with like a 90s band name. Okay, Space Hog. Done.
Space Hog. Starflyer 59.
Starflyer 59.
Tinder Sticks.
Yeah, Space Hog is sort of like it's like 90s version of like a certain aspect of what Bowie and Queen and T-Rex did, like that kind of glam stuff. They have it. Never played with Boredoms. I came to them way too late. By the time I knew who they were like kind of big, at least in the Bay Area. So it would never happen. Lubricated Goat. I played with Stu plenty of times. Not Lubricated Goat, but with Stu Spasm. Actually, Def Club which is Justin Pearson's new band, is playing Caterball this year. Caterball. They're closing on Monday. Yeah, the thing I remember most about Space Hog is they had their best known song is called "In the Meantime," which is not "Meantime" by Helmet. And that used to be very confusing for me.
That's a fucking sick ass song, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I think that's what they close with.
You had Paige Hamilton on your show from Helmet.
It's a great episode of the show.
Oh,
absolutely.
Man.
Yeah.
That band just riffs, dude.
There's a great story. Crover fed it to me about when he was touring in David Bowie's band, because he toured in David Bowie's band for a while.
Crover or Paige
great
Hamilton?
Story. Paige Hamilton did, and like Dale's like, ask him about the Hangover Hamilton story.
Oh, interesting.
And
I do remember.
It's a whole. It's up on a clip somewhere. But.
I'm going to skip down here because none of us want to talk about 95 Fleetwood Mac. Death metal band. It's a different show. Do you know who Plumtree is?
Plumtree. What is
Okay,
that?
you don't know. We're going to keep going. There's too many
I don't
bands.
know.
We're only
Everclear. I saw Everclear with.
Nope. Hold that thought because we're not going to skip this. No Doubt. And people go, why is there two No Doubts on here, Jason? It's because No Doubt had recorded an album and the label was like, we don't hear a single. We want you guys to work with the producer. And that's Tragic Kingdom. But they self-released this record. Now the label, after the success of Tragic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And this has the song that would probably make you melt like the Wicked Witch, which is Gwen Stefani and Bradley Knoll of Sublime. And that's the song on here. It's called Total Hate 95.
All right.
And I wish I could play it because it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
It's those two, and it's like a punk song.
Uh-huh.
I love it. Listen to this No Doubt album. It's called the Beacon Street Collection. And you'll see why the label told them, don't release this record. The songs are too long. And number two, I love the fact that they said, fuck you guys. We're going to release our own record because we believe in these songs.
Nice. Well,
That's awesome. Don't hate on them.
I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying I don't have a frame of reference. It's fine. I mean,
Now you can talk about Everclear.
I don't like Everclear. I don't like them. I think they're annoying, but I went to see them because Hagfish was playing support for them on that tour. I went to see Hagfish and I got through about 3 songs and I was like, man, I'm out. But people were, young ladies especially, losing their minds. I didn't say I like them. I just said I wanted to talk about it. Like that was a perfect example of like a big like quote unquote alt rock band. It's like, okay, the constituent parts of this band maybe
didn't they have a song
academically
called My Girlfriend?
Probably. The constituent parts should be something that I like, and I don't like this at all. And then I was like, well, I'm already here. Might as well see a couple songs of this band. Hated it. Did not enjoy any part of it. Maybe they're great dudes. I don't know. I mean, like, I'll give almost any band 3 songs usually. And I was like, you know what? This ain't it. Like, I'm not having a good time. Hagfish was great, though. They were on. That's who I was there to see. That's all I'm saying. Don't revoke my punk rock card because I said something vaguely nice about Everclear that was misinterpreted.
So Everclear does have a song called Heart Spark $, and the first line is me and my black girlfriend. So yeah, he does have a song about him and his black girlfriend.
For real? Okay.
There you go. Take that, Conan. You don't have that song. So Everclear 1, Conan 0. There you go.
I guess so. I guess that was it. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm missing some hidden depth to it. It didn't appeal to me. Let's put it that way. But like whatever. They seemed that their crowd loved it, and I don't know.
What was the song that was so big back? Because I remember they were
the world eyes, I don't remember what it was.
Word?
It was like.
Fox World Dies?
I don't remember any of the lyrics for it. I mean, like, I just remember there was like, is it Santa Monica? Is that the one? Well, the first one was Heroin Girl. I remember that because I was like,
he had a lot of girlfriends. He had a black one. This guy was going through it, man.
Yeah, the second single is called Santa Monica, and that's the one.
Now I want to go listen to fucking Everclear.
What'd you put on the playlist? What is this?
What's the song? Let's go back. Her brand new skin.
And
he's a serial killer. Look at him. Lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket, or gets the hose again.
Gonna skin this bra. Brand new skin. Yeah.
I felt that the
Father of Mine. Thank you, Matt Gilbert.
Okay.
Father of Mine. Yeah, I remember that. And then I would be like, oh, time to change the station.
I feel like that guy had a vocal affectation that I despise too. So
I just didn't. If the 90s was a time for me, I was like, I'm not really digging rock music right now.
If that's what you only knew, yeah, then I mean, like, if you like were listening to that instead of like Fugazi and Unwound, I get it.
I'm a racist, Conan, and there was just too many white people at those shows.
Well, I mean,
they kind of had a smugness to them that was off-putting to me.
Okay,
there was a smugness to those people. Like, that's when you're like, you don't know fucking Teenage Pimple Cream. I'm like, no.
See, I was more coming from the perspective of like, oh, you dig that? You know, you should check this out because like there's something here that you would like. I'm more like inviting people along for the fun, not like, oh, you don't know that. I'm more like, oh man, that's awesome. You've never heard that? I can't wait for you to hear that. That's going to be great. I bet you'll dig it. You know, but whatever. I'm built different, I guess. That's me. I'm built different.
Someone says Ian McKay smug. Yeah, right. Doesn't it like Conan? Look, man, we're old now, and we can be honest. There's a smugness to certain scenes, and if you're like, I only listen to college radio music. I was like, you're probably a douchebag.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But that said, if your option is like Everclear, like I mean, you wouldn't feel superior. I'm not saying it's warranted, but I think you can explain it. Like, gosh, against the hose again. And, all right. I hate all that shit. It's coming back now. Now I'm getting mad on about it again.
Well, because again, this is like the day of MTV playing this shit ad nauseum, radio playing this shit ad nauseum.
If you didn't hate it before, wait till you hear for the 1,000th time.
Oh yeah,
that'll help.
We bring you all the new alternative music because it's alternative.
Yeah.
Here's Everclear with their major label hit.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
There you go.
Redo all these serial killer songs, but in the style of Everclear.
Here's Everclear's new hit. That time I dated a black chick just to piss off my mom. There you go.
Wow. Wow.
Watch the singer call up on a call-in show. I'm like,
he's gonna be mad at you.
I don't really appreciate you saying it was a love, brother. It was a love. Let go of the hate in your heart.
There's one of two things. They'll be totally humorless about it, aka the Corrigan effect, or they would be like, actually, you know what? They kind of got our ass there. You know, like it was a different time or whatever.
Yeah, I know you don't want to do this, but I want to interview Billy Corrigan so bad because much like when I interviewed Chris Hedges and made him laugh, I want to make Billy Corrigan laugh. I think it's possible.
Yeah,
I think so. I think I can make him laugh.
Probably. I mean, I played in a band with Paho, who was in Zwan with him. He never mentioned Corrigan ever laughing, but he says, you know, he was an asshole, but he had a sense of humor.
He seems like an asshole. I would want to talk to him about metal stuff because Corrigan actually is a legit metalhead.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and he
can shred. It makes sense.
Yeah, he can fucking shred. But I want to ask him about what Eddie Van Halen said about him. Eddie Van Halen said that Billy Corrigan.
Talking that chat.
He said he picked up his guitar and Eddie goes he couldn't control it because Eddie didn't have pedals.
Right. Yeah.
And he said Corrigan couldn't. It was just too much for him. So I want to hear what Corrigan had to say about playing.
That'd be interesting, just because they're from different worlds, right? It's like that's. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's almost like a basic take to like hate on Billy Corrigan, but the Corrigan effect. Yeah, feel free to reuse that. I forgot I said that. I said like a minute ago. I say all kinds of stuff. Like I was definitely more vocal about it way back when. You know, like now who cares? Like,
of course. Again, it's back to the look. If you control what you take in. You don't have to watch this show if you don't want to. You can turn it off. So saying some mean shit is just like you chose to watch it. So go. I'm winning by you being mad at me. So I'm not going to respond to your mean shit.
Everclear fan 420 6969. Get out of here. No one's looking for you.
Everclear. We're not going to talk about Insane Clown Posse. That's fine.
Adios Amigos is the last Ramones record. The Crusher was a song on there. That's the only time I saw him. Was
the Crusher is that Dee Dee rapping?
Crusher, King of the Ring. I want to say Dee Dee is either on it or wrote the song.
That's not Joey.
I think it's CJ. Maybe.
Okay.
I haven't listened to that record in so goddamn long. Actually, Dee Dee wrote it. And who sang on it? I want to say it was CJ lead vocals on 2, 4, 8, 10, and that's right. That has their cover of Motorhead, the Motorhead song Ramones, Ramones, because Lemmy wrote a song about the Ramones called Ramones, and they covered that song on their last record. But it's not on the regular record. It's on like the special edition.
I didn't realize this was the last record. So let's get down to the
Crusher. The Crusher is CJ Ramon singing on that.
The
I looked
Goo
up the
Doll
information.
is coming. Well, I believe you told me you lost your virginity to this. Is that?
By the way, I can't hate on the record of Boy Named Goo. Respect.
Was it the Goo Goo Dolls that was on like?
It's only Johnny that was a Republican chapter black. Just so you know, Joey's was very much a progressive activist, and the other two were mostly like apolitical. But yeah, Goo Goo Dolls. They started off as
the ones on Metal Blade.
Was it Metal Blade originally?
Let's look
They started off kind of like as a more intense Husker Du style, punky power pop sort of situation. A Boy Named Goo. That's all right. They got me on that one. I don't remember anything about it. I mean, I remember we sold. It has a kid on the cover. I don't remember anything else about it.
Their first three albums were on Metal Blade.
That is very strange. Album also marked the band's last with the Metal Blade Records imprint. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one. I won't tell no one your name. That's that one, right?
Oof, I don't know anything you're singing right now. I don't want to know it.
Well, I mean, I moved a lot of units to the record store. That's what I could tell.
Was this the album? Is it too much to see me?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. Yes. So
this is that album? No, this isn't that album.
That's that album, and that was the hit.
I put the wrong song on here.
I won't tell no one your name. Yeah, I remember.
Oh
it.
wow!
And it's
there you go.
I may be putting too much Yarl into it, but that's what I remember of the Google.
I don't remember.
And I just knew him as like
much as a.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, but like I had people that were like, actually, their first couple records were pretty good.
Actually, their first record was the Sugar Ray cover.
Sugar Ray. Shit.
Did I tell you I met Mark McGrath and I asked him about that?
Oh no! What did he say?
I was at a.
Was he a prick or was he cool? It seems like it could go either way. That guy
Mark
could be the
McGrath
coolest guy.
Is fucking cool as shit.
It seems like he'd be pretty cool. Like it seems like he's a guy that he kind of knows what he does. And like he doesn't think he's like some big artist. And he's like, just this guy.
Well, okay, look, he was acting like a rock star because it was a rock star situation. We were at a place in West Hollywood that was very West Hollywood, right? There was what you call it, the TMZ people were up front waiting for Star. So I think he thought I was somebody famous for some reason.
Sure.
And so he walked over to our table and sat down with us. And my friend that I was with, I think I've told the story before, was like, "Hey, I saw you. You were my first concert." And the guy and Mark McGrath goes, "Oh, really? Where are you from?" He goes, I'm from Houston, Texas. He goes, "Oh, what year was that? Like 95, 96? And he goes, "Yeah." And Mark McGrath's like, "Oh, yeah, we were opening for this band and blah, 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 blah." It's really friendly, right? And so, and I had to ask. I was like, "Look, man, I'm not trying to shit on you." And he looks at me and he's getting kind of defensive, right? And I'm like, your record, you open up that record with the heaviest song ever. Yeah. "Be nice to your sister." You ever heard that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "You guys did metal shit." And I was like, "Did you ever want to do more metal shit?" And he looked at me. He's like, "No." He said, "Once we did that other shit and we were making money, he's like, that other shit sold." He goes, "Nobody bought the metal shit stuff." I was like, "Did you dig it?" He's like, "Yeah, of course we dug it, but nobody really bought the metal shit." He was hella chill about it and super honest about it, which I appreciated. But I was surprised at his memory.
That he retained all that, sure.
And I would love to sit and talk with him more about that kind of weird ride that band took from being one of these bands like Snot and all those new metal bands that didn't quite make it, and you change it up kind of as a joke, and your joke becomes massive.
Yeah, because that first record, the one that comes out this year, is this on here, by the way? And Lemonade and Brownies, is that on here? Which of course is Pee and Poop, by the way. Lemonade and Brownies.
What band is that? Is this a band or a song?
Sugar Ray, Mark McGrath's band.
I don't remember.
Well, first of all, hell of a record cover. It's got like a naked woman in a prone position, like
that's the most 90s shit ever, right?
And I remember specifically they had a song called "Big Black Woman" on there.
All the white guys are just loving talking about their interracial shit, huh?
I guess so, man. It's Nicole Eggert who's on the cover. Who was
Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge?
And Charles in Charge, yeah. And moved a decent amount of copies of that record too. Sugar guy. But it's funny because like this is back when also like a Lil Kim, right? Like a bunch of copies of that moved, and it was like all dudes buying it. I was like, oh, shocking. Okay, but
So in '95, I used to work with the drummer from AFI.
they also had a song called "Danzig Needs a Hug," which I respect. Respect, Sugar Ray.
But that's that live. That again, this is that moment where.
There's multiple skits on this. This is like, they're trying everything on this.
But Conan, again, you're not going to get radio airplay. Maybe a college station, maybe. So you just get to make crazy, goofy shit, and it's for the live show. It's an interactive thing. A lot of call and response hooks.
It's like heavy stuff. Some of it's kind of Beastie Boys ripoff. Yeah. I mean, they were throwing it all against the wall.
So that to me is what this era is filled with. And you were getting a deal because again, A&R still came out to see where the hot band was.
Well, remember House of Pain did like jump around like 2 years before, something like that. Yeah, and like that was got my guts, like the national anthem for city of Boston. It's like it was huge.
That's a certain white guy's national anthem.
Oh, dude, it's like
there's a certain white guy that likes that song too much.
Oh, dude, let's go House of Pain, bro.
It's a little like, hey, calm down because you're gonna call me the N-word soon.
I was gonna say you know he's got an N-word on deck.
We'll laugh about later, but it'll be definitely we have to kick your ass kind of way.
Yeah, the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon characters that are like the Departed, like that kind of era. Anyway, that's way more than I expect to talk about Sugar Ray, but that's an interesting story.
Sugar Ray, look, I again never was a huge fan, but you can't deny their radio songs.
I'm not trying to deny them. I'm just saying I would never think of them. I mean,
Fly, and what's the Sublime song again? Summertime. That's the '90s in a nutshell, right there. Sadly, it became. You know why we hate those songs now, and we hate those bands because there's people that made those songs their personality, and those people are the worst. Those are the people that accidentally kill sex workers in Vegas on a cocaine bender. Those are the people.
How about that for a legacy? God damn.
People that punch way too many holes in sheetrock. Those are the people that just don't understand.
I just want to fly. Kills Hooker.
Right? Yeah. They are the Jeremy Piven character in every movie he's in.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Right? That's that guy.
That is the realest reel that ever reeled. Wow. Okay.
Right? But Boondock Saints fans likes the Boondock Saints way too much.
Boondock Saints fan. Got it in one, friend. Yeah. Always have the N-word in the chamber. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like,
it's like Professor Griff's idea of a white person. That Sugar Ray fan.
You get the fucking applause for that. But if you meet Mark McGrath, you're like, you're actually kind of cool. And I don't think you'd call anyone the N-word. There's an N-word in your group. I'm sure you'd beat someone up if they dared say that to him.
Frosted tips and all.
But your fans, on the other hand, yikes!
You don't get to control your fans for sure, but you also can.
There's a reason why Afro Man punched that woman in the fucking face. There's only so many N-words you could take that night.
Yeah, it's an allotment. Here's your allotment. It's 0, by the way. Is the allotment? The allotment is 0. Should be anyway.
Charles goes says I like Sublime because I was 12.
Yeah, look, and anybody like whatever, it's fine. Like what you like, but also I would never bag on anyone's early musical taste when you're like a young person. Whatever, you get into some goof ass stuff, and then you're like, you try it out. You're like, you know what? That's not for me. Fine.
That's fine.
Speaking of which, AFI is on this list.
Like I said, I worked with the drummer from AFI, and he was so cool. We worked at Ned's Books. And Pep Love from Hieroglyphics also worked with us.
Oh yeah. So this is what AFI kind of became. This is early. Was this their first record or second record or something?
I think it's like their second.
They were still kind of in that. Not
Lookout Records.
Exactly, but yeah. They, I want to say, did Lookout put it out? But it was definitely that style of.
No, I don't think.
AFI was like they were like Kings of Gilman. Like, and it was like a specific kind of like, it didn't sound like Green Day or anything necessarily, but it was a specific kind of like post Buzzcocks pop punk. Like I want to say Tim Armstrong even like produced some of the songs.
That makes
on here.
sense. Super fast.
They were super fast pop punk band. It was before any of the other stuff, and like I remember hearing the one, I forgot what the name of it is. The first one that like where they went different. And I was like, is this a different
Song
band?
of Sing the Sorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had a long title. That sounds right.
Yeah, Sing the Sorrow.
And it's like, oh, they just like, okay, kept the name and went somewhere totally different with it. Okay,
I met
cool.
Davey Havoc hanging out with Under Oath like back in the day, and mostly he had like chicks with him of every nationality. You are the most badass dude. He had like an all white outfit on.
He's like, "Oh, hate on me all you want, son.
like,
I'm good."
You hang out. This was like 2005, 2006.
Sure,
I was
he's
like,
flying high at this point.
Damn, Davey Havoc came in the joint with chicks. Where were we at? Were we at fucking like the concourse or some crazy place like that holds like 6,000 people? Because it was like Under Oath and Taking Back Sunday, so super fucking emo MTV.
Yeah. I was gonna say I feel like they kind of slotted nicely into that 2000s sort of era, with all that Nitro stuff, before they signed to DreamWorks and whatnot. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't really have strong thoughts on AFI other than like they were so big in the Bay Area sort of pop punk scene that like it surprised me when they hit big, and it was like, oh, is this the same band? Or
and kind of like Green Day where they're nice guys.
They seem really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any of them that I'm aware of, but they seem cool.
I'm telling you, he had like I was like, damn, he got on. He just walked in. I was like, that's the coolest. Sauntered in. I was like, damn, and the show was over too, so it was just like, hey, I'm just looking for Spencer. Like, oh man.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, fair enough.
Fucking hang out with David.
Got Jewel on this list.
We can pass Jewel if you want.
I don't care. I mean, whatever. She seems nice. Moving on. Skilo. I wish.
That's the hip hop show. And we'll spend way too much time talking about that song.
The Morrissey record.
You want to speak at Morrissey?
Not really.
You do want to talk about Morrissey?
No, I do not want to talk about Morrissey.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I'm a serious question. So I like some of the Smith stuff, right?
That record. Sure. Yeah, me too.
And I wanted to get
What's
a Smith T-shirt. What's the album with How Soon Is Now? Meat is Murder thing.
Is that Meat is Murder? Hold on. I'm looking it up. I have all these on like various cassette tapes somewhere. Yeah, it is Meat is Murder. All right. How Soon Is Now.
If I had that shirt with somebody,
it's like the one with like the soldier on it, right?
Yeah.
If
I wore that shirt, would someone call me racist?
I think the Smiths are innocent.
If I
even
had
with Morrissey doing that, if you have a Morrissey shirt and you're not
Morrissey shirt
and you're not in like East LA, East LA.
But I live in Mexico, and Morrissey is a thing.
Oh, and they. I don't know how that flying in Mexico.
You can get a dope Morrissey shirt at the flea market here for like $2.
That's
wild. Totally serious. I'm being totally serious. So if I've been scared to get one because I don't want to wear it, and then someone go, "Oh my god, you like Morrissey, so you totally hate foreigners." I'm like, no, I hate you. But
I don't know. That's a hard dude to publicly be a fan of because people are going to want to discuss things with you, And so I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think about England's right to?
Yeah, like, oh man, come on, dude. I want to talk about William. It was really nothing, Like I'm not looking for that.
Dusty says, "Just get a Cure shirt." I have a Cure shirt.
It was really nothing. Yeah, I mean,
dude, I'm telling you. It says Bob Beatty says Morrissey is a tough pill.
Yeah, that's.
What's worse? Okay, tell me what's worse. Tell me what's worse. I'm being 100% serious here. I'm being 100% serious. What is worse? Ready. A Cosby Show T-shirt or a Morrissey T-shirt? I need to know.
Probably Cosby.
Okay.
I feel like Cosby's just been redacted from the culture completely.
There is nothing to see.
I mean, am I wrong? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. This man had like the biggest show on television for like almost a decade, and like people were just acting like it didn't happen now. Okay, you know, that's.
Yeah.
We thought "Pull Your Pants Up" was bad. It was, by the way. But
by the way, on Means TV, my Bill Cosby video essay, Bill Cosby ain't your daddy. I didn't make that. Being totally serious.
I should have made a joke about Morrissey being appointed Secretary of State or something. No, it would be or immigration czar. There we go. That would have been the joke. Sorry. This is why I don't do improv.
Let's see. My Dying Rise to the Dark.
Apples in Stereo. That's your buddy Bill. Bill Cody's all about Apples in Stereo and all.
Are they from Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they from Athens?
They're yeah, Apples in Stereo are like hub for that. What is it? I'm trying to think of. Come on, what was it? The Neutral Milk Hotel and Elephant Six, all that Elephant Six stuff.
Eddie Murphy.
Actually, I want to say they're originally from like somewhere else, but the Elephant Six stuff anyway.
Everybody's talking about Bill Cosby now. We fucking riled the Cosby fucking hate. You want to KFFDM is this show, or that's an electronic music show?
I think it's crossover for sure. What record do they have coming out this year? Nile. It's like Nihilism, but it's just the first.
Yeah.
What's on that one? They have crazy about KMFDM and peace and love to all the KMFDM fans. I feel like they have maybe 3 songs, but like they're good. I've seen them live. Actually, I think I played with them once, but
no shit.
Ooh. Yeah. And they were super cool. And I enjoyed the show, but like I don't know. Like for me, they don't have the same. Like as an experience, it's great, right? Like I would highly suggest people see a KMFDM show, but I don't think Mala Nutra Makota picture my favorite image of 2024. Yeah, that's a word on that. But I've tried, and I feel like they're kind of like club teen goth. It's like a gateway drug, right? And then you listen to KMFDM, then you get into like Ministry and Skinny Puppy and so on and so on, where it's like, and you're like, yeah, KMFDM, pretty good. Because for as many records as they have, there's just not a lot of memorable songs. I mean, I think Juke Joint Jezebel's good, and I want to say that's on this record. But yeah, weird, like a band that has a career but would be very well served by like a best of, and then even on that best of, like maybe half it's actually good.
What is KLF? What they had a big single.
KLF is
unbelievable. Is that unbelievable? Is that
no? KLF? That's EMF. KLF is.
Sorry, I apologize, Jimmy.
The KLF had a. Oh God, I freaking when I was playing in Eric's industrial band, we did a cover of theirs. What the hell song was that? I think I know. The one they came to my attention with was they did Doctor in the TARDIS, which is a it was a mashup of the Doctor Who theme song, which slaps, and Rock and Roll Part 2. Oh hey, and. Oh, God,
KLF. I know who KLF is. Those crazy motherfuckers. Okay.
They were like big like Adbusters style antics and stuff like that.
Super arty. Yeah, super arty. Yeah.
What is the freaking song? I freaking played this on tour with them. You think I can remember the name of it, but is it oh, it's What Time Is Love. What Time Is Love. Jesus Christ. Thank you. I know how to play that song on keyboard.
You're unbelievable. I'm so mad I messed
That's definitely Ian.
You know who I used to like back in the day, Conan? The Information Society. I want
Information.
Know what you're thinking. Can we get
apparently that dude does karaoke. He does karaoke to his own song. Apparently,
I want to get them on the. Can we get that dude on the show?
I think Gottesman knows him. I think the guy I played in the industrial band with, like, I think they're if not friends, they're professional.
I was blown away again.
He's the Conan Neutron of industrial music. He knows all those guys.
But would you agree? And you know who else said this? My friend Pasquale Romero said this too. He goes, the 90s is really an era, and a lot of the 80s too, where people are really pushing musical boundaries as far as they can go. And because of these kind of out of the blue hits that you're getting with hip hop, with electronic music, with dance music, and of course with rock music, record labels are like, okay, there's people dancing to this, we'll sign them.
AKA KMFDM. I mean, that's like, and to be clear, I'm not saying that as an insult. I think KMFDM as like if you're in the right, like, dude, think how many '90s movies are set in like that club that does not exist in the real world, that has like the flashing lights and the chains and everyone looks super hot, like out of the Matrix and whatnot. Yeah, closest thing you're gonna get to that was probably a KMFDM show. That's I'm definitely not talking trash on them. I'm just saying from my personal sensibility, they're not at home listening to the record band. It's like, oh, you're out and like having a good time kind of situation. You got a strap in your glad.
I love that.
Sweden, that's a decent Mountain Goats record. It's one of the early ones. For me, those first 3 or 4 ones are fine. It's kind of Corner's Gambit, and especially All Hail West Texas, where it starts being like, oh, this is Home Skillet, maybe like the self-aware indie rock Bob Dylan of our time, but not an asshole. But they're all good, if you're in, but you have to be into the Mountain Goats thing, and that's I had long had the idea of doing a record of Mountain Goats covers. Secret Friend style, like big rock interpretations of them, because I think they're really good songs, but especially the early ones, like the Fidelity solo, because it's super low fidelity. It's like a lot of Guided by Voices stuff where it's like it's just it's like a boom box or something, right? And so it sounds, and I think a lot of people are just never gonna give a song a hearing if it sounds like that. Maybe more now, but like and some of them, it's like these are good songs. These would make sense for a big rock arrangement. Now, is that ever going to happen? I don't know. Eventually, I got too many ideas and I don't have time. It's the problem. But I would do it in a heartbeat, especially if someone else would put it out. Hint, hint. But
when are we going to do our Weird Fishes Arpeggios cover? Let's do it. I was thinking about it the other day. I was on this long, like my hour and a half fucking run hike, and I was like, I think Conan should fucking, let his nuts hang a little bit, and let's do something a little weird.
I'm down, man. I mean, it is weird that we have like played together but never like really collaborated, right? It's like, hey, here it is. It goes like this.
Yeah, that's because it doesn't make sense, and that's the thing that blows us up in our 40s. It's like not.
Oh yeah, the fuck around project.
It's like Jason Conan covered these songs that doesn't make sense.
That would be like Nail Bomb or something, where like that's the
and they only did it one time.
Newport gets super annoyed if you talk to him about it. It's like, Nail Bomb. He has a studio in JT now too. Newport. He pulled up stakes and he's in. And every time I try to hit him up, every single time he's like, I can't mate. I'm mixing this thing from some guy from England or whatever. Okay, fine. One of these days.
Props to you.
I haven't seen that dude or his hair in forever. I'm talking about Alex Newport of Fudge Tunnel and Nail Bomb Theory of Ruin. Great player. What is that? Okay, is that Collective Soul? Yeah. Is that one?
Okay, you can't hear it if I play, I believe. So let me play it. Because tell me if you hear it, I'll stop playing it.
Is that the name of that song? Okay.
Let me, because I can hear it. It's going.
That sounds like that New Order riff.
Oh, you can hear it?
I can hear it.
Oh shit! Is it coming through on the speakers, or is it coming through because it's coming through on my headphones?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But we do not want this show to get taken down because we're playing fucking Collective Soul. So don't stress on it.
Is Mylene?
I don't know. I just don't remember what the name of that song is. Like anybody, if y'all know what the one I'm talking about. Is
Collective Soul the band where one of the brothers in that band is the brother of the bass player from Seven Dust? Is that the same band?
I have no idea. It was called Shine. Okay.
Shine.
Which is on the record before this. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do you know who Mylene Farmer is? I don't know Mylene Farmer.
Not familiar. No.
It's a great name.
Yeah, dude, fucking the hot mom contingent of people buying that Enya record, I can tell you was very, very real in this year. Like there's that Enya record Move where she's like on the throne.
Mm-hmm. This was after they had the big hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was dentists all through the Bay Area were clamoring to get it.
The Ace of Base too. There was like a weird
that she
a chanting moment.
is another cleansing ethnically.
Who was the Nazi again?
One of the dudes.
Nazis. Yeah,
one of the. It was like two chicks and two dudes, just like ABBA, and like one of the dudes was deeply problematic, is how we would phrase it now. But that Amps record,
who's the Amps?
amazing. The Amps that's Kim Deal. That's Kim Deal.
Oh no shit.
It should have been called a Breeders record, but she was too loyal to the other people in the Breeders, like Tanya Donnelly and Kelly, her sister, and Jim McPherson and whatnot. It rips. That honestly, Pacer as an album, all hits. And it's crazy that like if she had called it, she even just put out a record this year, just Kim Deal. But if she'd called it the Breeders, it would have been bigger than Last Splash, I think, personally. It's just a down and dirty, hard pop record. I mean, if you know what Kim Deal does, like it's that. But Tip City rips, Pacer rips, the whole that's one of the records that came out this year. I cannot overstate how badass it is. Like it's I think there was a Billy record this year. The Amps record is better.
Is this the one I
Bragging Party is what I'm thinking of. That song goes, man. It's good.
Okay, did you hear that?
Yeah, Tip City.
Okay, you get 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking really good.
Is it the first song on the record?
Tip City? No, Pacer is the first one. It's like the second song.
Okay, yeah. So there's a method to doing this with bands you don't like, and in different eras, you can figure it out, right? In the 60s and 70s, the single may be the last song on the record.
Yeah, exactly. All bets are off. Right?
The 80s, the first song is going to be a banger.
Right.
80s, 90s, pretty much guaranteed the first song's a banger.
Yep.
In the 90s, third song is generally the single.
Second, third song.
Yeah.
So if you're Soundgarden, maybe the seventh song. Who knows?
Some of those,
really,
and
they mid-loaded it.
When you hear a seventh song single, you know that was not the band's choice.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely. And which is why it's funny that Rusty Cage, like where was that on the record? I don't listen to Bad Motorfinger nearly as I think that is atypical because I think that's the first song on the record. But like, what a great way to start a record. It's like fuck, if you're not like banging your head by like 20 seconds in, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Hole in your soul.
Oh, you had a couple ones. Can you go up just real quick?
Oh, you want to talk about Monster Magnet?
I shout out to Monster Magnet. Never gets discussed, and I think
was not everything you're saying right now. Did not expect to come out of your mouth.
Really? Okay. I mean, Monster Magnet is like there's a big tie to the through Chris Goss to the world of Rancho de la Luna and Caius and Queens of the Stone Age, all that stuff. Even though, like, ultimately, I think they're East Coast band. I think from
they're like Jersey or something.
Right? Yeah. But Chris Goss is like he's an interesting cat. Don't talk to him about politics.
Yikes! One of those.
I don't think he would want to talk about politics anyway. But super cool guy and like, whatever. Monster Magnet doesn't get enough credit. John McBain, who starving musician. He was in Monster Magnet too. He never talks about that. He was also in Hater with Ben from Soundgarden and whatnot. But this is kind of like a true headband. I just want to give him a shout out.
I did not see that coming. Because they kind of get.
I like Monster Magnet. I mean,
they're new metal, dude. They get lumped into new metal stuff.
They're that proto kind of. They're not as to blame as like Faith No More, but like that kind of.
Conan has some baggy jeans.
Definitely, well, not anymore. I know. They weren't that baggy. They just
shorts.
I just didn't know how to have ones that fit.
Oh.
Scattered, Smothered, Uncovered, Unsane. That's their third album.
Well, let's save that for the metal show. It's pretty heavy.
Okay, I mean they're that's a foundational noise rock record. for sure. But like,
You
that's the first one with Dave Curran.
Preach about it. Okay, preach about it.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. It's all good.
You
That's
got some preaching minutes.
it's got a it's a hammer. Somebody's just been killed on the cover. It's a Standard Unseen record. It's like all their covers are totally gnarly looking.
Do you know Eraserheads?
Eraserheads. I don't know what that is.
There's dance music. And Sunvolt.
Sunvolt. Yeah. The Sunvolt. Oh, what was that compilation that they were on? There's a comp that they were on. They had a really good song on that. That's how I mostly know. Sunvolt.
Sunvolt.
That's a Jay Farrar. So it's post Uncle Tupelo.
Oh, wow.
Right. They went two directions. Sunvolt is the other one. What is the freaking comp I'm thinking of? I cannot think of this for the life of me.
Do you know?
I was just talking about comps with Biggin too, because we were talking about that Ground Rule double compilation. But anyway, there's a really good comp. They've got a really good song on there. But so people that don't know, God, there's a lot of information, isn't it? Uncle Tupelo was a band like 87 and 94, proto alt country, alt folk, et cetera. Jeff Tweedy's the other guy.
Oh,
okay. So Jay Farrar, Jeff Tweedy. Jay Farrar is Sunvolt, and Jeff Tweedy formed Wilco.
I don't remember that. There's a lot of stuff in here I don't remember.
It's bookstore music, whatever.
Was the Black Dog something you know?
The Black Dog. What is this? I don't.
What about Cat Power? You a Cat Power fan?
I love Cat Power. Cat Power. What record is that? That's Dear Sir. Yeah. So Cat Power's interesting. Some of those records slap so hard, and some of them are just there. But she was consistently interesting. This is the one's got all the letters. It's like typed out. Yeah. Okay.
I think this was like a spoken word stuff on it. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
She does a Tom Waits cover on this one. That's not. It's a. So she did this the same one as she did Myra Lee, which I know better, which has Tim from and Steve Shelley from Sonic Youth. They're both from $2 Guitar. So Dear Sir is the first record, and it's more stripped down, and then like Myra Lee is the first one she does like with a band, which is right after. I mean, Cat Power's. You got to have a record for the young ladies who have 3 or 4 poetry books. That
Lilith
have filled
Fair
up,
is a thing during this time because of the success of Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
and a lot of women getting record deals. Lilith Fair becomes a thing. So I think there's a Lilith Fair music that happens in the 90s as well.
Cat Power's a little bit too indie / weird for the Lilith Fair crowd, but definitely coming from that same place. Like, there's like a Tori Amos kind of like Venn diagram. Tori Amos, Cat Power.
I mean, that was just a moment where, you're a woman? Okay, here's a festival for you.
Here's a festival for women to play. Great.
There you go. Are you tired of getting felt up at fucking Woodstock 94? Well, here,
right, exactly.
Play a Lilith Fair. There you go. We have a whole new market not hitting. Yes, that is a song with Cher and Grandmaster.
I was looking at that. I was like, Cher and Melly Mel does a song
real
together?
thing that I found.
Okay, and it's a James Brown cover. Okay.
The
Earth
Softies.
Crisis.
You know the Softies?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I tell you that much about them? Not really. I mean, there's a they're like a duo or something, right?
I don't
remember.
remember.
Portland. I want to say they're a K Records joint. Let me see. Do I know any of these people? Let's see. Rose Melbourne, James.
Once I hear
Yeah. That's
once I hear that,
K Records. They're a K Records band. I think if I remember, it was supposed to be a solo project, and they for both of them, and then they were like, let's make this a thing.
Now this cover.
Tiger Trap. Tiger Trap.
Conan, this cover. I like this cover. I like this cover.
That's a. Who did the cover for that? That's a good.
I like the cover. I'd be like, oh, dude, what is the Softies? I would look at someone like you and be like, what is this?
Right. yeah. I mean, it's good. That's a kind of chick factor. Calvin Johnson, K Records.
I want to read this comment, but I can't. You don't read it either. Just read it in your head.
Wow.
Read it in your
head. Wow.
But that's hilarious. And I wish I could read it out loud.
Damn.
Because it's funny. I don't know.
Mercury Rev.
Okay, this is the band you know. Okay.
Mercury Rev, Flaming Lips, the guy from one of the guitarists from Flaming Lips, who's the kind of weirdo guitarist for Mercury Rev. They ironically both bands end up going in a similar direction, but at different times, which is more like dialed back, like dreamy pop, modern psychedelia, but like in a way that is not as aggressive as what happened with that period of Flaming Lips. Mercury Rev's good.
That's
it's
not a bad
fella.
cover. It's not. I don't like the font, but that's not a bad cover.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember homie's name. It's escaping me right now, but Jonathan, not Demi, Donahue, Jonathan Donahue, and yeah, their records are all pretty good, consistent. I've never been like a gigantic fan or anything. 95. I want to say that's probably the first one.
Avant pop pranksters is what they're called, evolving into purveyors.
No, this is like the third record. I'm wrong. Wow.
Psych pop.
But yeah, they were a big Beggars Banquet band. Parallel to the Flaming Lips, sort of like alt universe of what they did. They both kind of Flaming Lips ended up doing Transmissions of the Satellite Heart, I think the year before.
See the dick broom the guy has right there? The dick broom. Anyone with a dick broom like this, I don't know if I like their music. That's where I was in 95. I was like, oh, that guy's got a dick broom. That's just
I'm out. You'll never see me again.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really good. You really like it.
Mercury Rev, for me, they're like, it's a good meat and potatoes band, right? Like I've never found the oh my god, best band ever aspect of it that some people have with them, but the solid stuff. I think you dig it. Sort of like,
is this a band you know? Acetone. It looked like somebody you know.
Acetone. It looks like somebody you know.
Like look at this cover. This cover sucks, right? But look at that. You Acetone was kind of in the mold of summertime football and premenstrual teenagers. Kind of the same thing, right? The midlife crisis for the same thing. I'm not really a fan per se. Jonathan Skitnicki was the bass player on their 4 records. The first 4 records.
Up on this. Wow. All I can say is that that's the most 90s band name I've ever heard. I mean, if I know them, I can't remember anything about them. It amounts to the same. All the stuff you said is very close to what I said on a bunch of other things. Are you gonna talk about Poe, or are you gonna save that for?
I'm assuming you know Poe. I don't. But Poe is like your. This is your. Hold on. We get 2 seconds. 10 seconds at the max. All right.
Yeah. This is a.
Is this more electronic music?
Yeah, it's a little electronic.
I don't remember this at all.
This
is a 95 album cover if I've ever seen a 95.
Oh yeah. Dude, the video is the same thing.
God.
Like she's like on a bed or something and like looking like hot and.
Do you remember when we were in high school there was like the fitting shirts for young women and they had like a car or some shit on like that?
Yeah.
Would you still go for that right now?
Nothing wrong with it, like whatever. It's a good look. It's a strong look. Take that over flare jeans. I don't like it.
But if she had the flare jeans on, it's like a midriff shirt. She's got the flare jeans on. You turn away. They're low-rise flare jeans.
Look, I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that. I'm just saying I don't like them.
The low-rise flare jeans are not 95, by the way, unless she actually like stole them from her mother.
I want to say this was like relatively big. Like it didn't last. I think she had.
She's got less listeners than Mercury Rev.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mercury Rev has like consistently been. Well, I remember the second one, which is more electronic, really bombed. But she had, this was an Alternative Nation. If you remember that show,
yes,
it was a big Alternative Nation.
Yes.
Honestly, probably because of the video. But
here we go. Conan's about to go off. U.S. Maple.
Long hair in 3 stages, man. Like
John
U.S. Maple.
Anker was the singer at this point with U.S. Maple, and he co-produced and engineered 7 records with.
So
Stevie
U.S. Maple,
Blackfish.
U.S. Maple's it's like a rock. It's a rock band that sounds like a rock band falling apart, but intentionally. And the first time you hear it, you're like, "What the hell am I listening to?" And the third time you hear it, I'm like, "Okay, this is actually genius." Because all the guys, so you got Al Johnson, who's his vocalist, like, I saw you on, and I'm not. It sounds exactly like that. That is not an affectation. And you got 2 guitarists that are clearly like shredder badass levels, but they're playing the crazy. That's a Todd Rittman, who ended up being in Dead Rider afterwards, and Mark Shippey, and Shorty was the band that he was in, and then Pat Sampson later is the drummer. But there's. Can I tell you there's an Eddie Money clip, like an Eddie Money like live performance that somebody put U.S. Maple music to, and it works perfectly, and it's so amazing. But it's like you kind of have to know. You have to kind of know U.S. Maple's whole deal to get it. They would characterize themselves as a rock band, I'm sure. Absolutely experimental music, but genius. It's like all build up with no catharsis for everything. But no, it's cool as hell. U.S. Maple rocks. The one I would put, if I was going to pick a song on that one, it would be Letter to ZZ Top, which is the second one. But
they only have 6,800 listeners.
Kids don't know U.S. Maple. I mean, like, why would they know U.S. Maple? Like, it's especially, but like what they did was genius, like absolute genius, and I stand by that assessment. And I say that as someone that when I first heard this record, I hated it. HATED, hated it.
I do have,
and then like I kept listening to it for whatever reason, which people don't do now, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is actually kind of badass. So anyway,
what do you think about Quicksand?
Well, we're not gonna skip Rock from the Crypt, are we?
You talked about him last show. You did.
Well, we glanced at it. Quicksand feels like a band that I should have been more into than I am. I like them. That's good. Respect.
Rival Sons? Are you more of a Rival Sons guy?
All that stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And like, I just don't ever think about that. It's not, but I know people that are like, oh, that record is the one. And like, it just wasn't. It's good. But somebody throws it on, I'm into it.
You want to do another rock?
We got to talk about Scream Dracula Dream. We talked around it. We didn't really talk about it. Scream Dracula Scream. First of all, that's basically the record that Drive Like Jehu. Yeah. So it was basically they were kind of primed to be Interscope's New Nirvana. And this it is, as a record, I think it's one of their best records. I had a hate on for Rock from the Crypt because inadvertently that's why Drive Like Jehu stopped playing, which was like one of my favorite bands at the time. And I got into them like 2 months after they played San Francisco for like the last time. And then I had a chip on my shoulder about Rocket for years. Then I had a friend of mine make me a mixtape, which had like 3 or 4 songs from this record as well as many other ones. And I was like, fuck, it's great. And I think the reason why they had like a whole, like they had matching bowling shirts and like a horn section. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can mess with this. I don't know. And when I realized I was an idiot, and Rock from the Crypt is awesome. So I'm glad that they've done a few reunion things since then. And I got to see them and it kicked ass. And actually, respect too, because Adam Willard, the drummer, is a badass dude. But there's just a lot of people in the band, and like, I don't know, I was like kind of weirdly anti-party music in rock and roll for like a while. I don't know why. But it's really because like Jehu. I love Jehu so much. It's like, why would you do this instead of Jehu?
But also too, party music is kind of like back to what we were saying about the guys that were packing the club and getting paid to play.
Right.
Were the guys that made party music. So again, Sublime.
And Rocket was playing the kind of music that like it wasn't just a pack of dudes like looking at like what John Reese was playing on guitar. Everyone was dancing and bopping around, having a good time. And I think it took me a few years to appreciate that, but I love them now. And I think that it's wild that if things had like gone a little bit differently, Scream Dracula Scream would have been a much bigger record, because it is like they've made a lot of records and a lot of them are really good, but that one is like, oh, this one could have like hit big. If it had been, I don't know, like maybe like slightly earlier or like maybe slightly later, it's like the timing wasn't exactly right. The story behind it is fascinating and
95.
common.
I'll end with it. I'll end with this when we talk about this year and this genre of music, and probably all shows could end like this. By the time you get to the 90s, especially the mid 90s, and the amount of money record labels are making because people have to buy entire records, this is still before the blow up of the chain store like Best Buy that's going to cut into the record store. So people are still going to record stores to look for certain kinds of music. We talked a little bit about this on the Grunge show, where you have micro targeting, and there's a lot of music that comes out in especially 94, 95 that's so fucking weird. I'm talking like a whole album full. And remember, an album in 1979 is 46 minutes long. An album and a CD.
How much music can you fit on?
Yeah. A CD in 1995 can be 90 minutes, and they filled 90 minutes with noise on a lot of stuff. It's an interesting time for music, but it's also so much is coming out that it really and people are getting campaigns. They're getting legitimate
monoculture. Yeah.
MTV is really breaking people. If you got on an MTV tour or spring break, a lot of the people we're talking about that we don't know, they played MTV and still didn't blow up.
It just didn't. It didn't take. It didn't stay. There was no staying power for it.
For something, the singer wasn't cute enough. The clothes weren't right.
Whatever it is. I mean, we talked about Super Unknown. We did in '94. Like all the singles there. Black Hole Sun's like the 7th song in. Spoon Man's the 8th song in. Like, I mean, that is it's like a 74-minute record.
Again, 46 minutes for a vinyl.
Yeah.
Once CDs become the norm and no one's putting music out on records, 90 minutes I can get on it, motherfucker, let's put 90 minutes on it.
And I would listen to something like that or Downward Spiral or whatever and just be like, hell yeah, because listening to records that were very long, like that's what you did, because like you didn't have, like, what are you gonna do, like listen to like something else and 3 seconds later? Well, that's what you do now. But
yeah playlists were not a mixtape. These shows for me are mixtape of love. For
Poe would definitely be on a mixtape, by the way. That's a good mixtape.
Should we give the girl you liked?
Yeah, I would get it, or get it from the girl too. Either one.
That's how you got married. The mixtape of love.
That could be a whole genre, like mixtape music, right?
Oh, dude, this for me is like, here. I could make you a mix of songs I like from this era, but I won't. Here's everything from this era, and it's all of our mixtape of love are these shows.
Like if you would let the next 10 seconds of that Rock from the Crypt song play, which would probably get a takedown notice from it, you'd be like, oh yeah, this goes. And what's even more so is like the first 3 songs are kind of like a suite, and it kills. But it's one of those things where, when are you going to do that? When are you going to listen to like, a 3-song thing of I think I know those guys, right? That's Jehu guitar. Hot Snakes guitarist guy had another band. Okay.
Every time you say Hot Snakes, I confuse that with These Arms Are Snakes. Not the same.
So it's both great bands, very different.
Not the same.
Very, very different. Not the same thing at all.
Nope. Hear that chat. Jason loves us. I do. This is my like
doing these shows.
I love music way too much, and I wish we could all be together listening to this, like playing.
Yeah, like having. That's why this show should be picked up by, like, I don't know, a Sirius XM or somebody's got the rights to pay for all this music. Because
how about we do this? How about we do this next time you come to? Are you coming to San Diego this year? You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
June.
Are you?
It's not announced yet, but we're playing
short drive after, or long drive after.
Well, we're playing LA afterwards, but I can do it after
it's
LA.
Nothing. So after you're done playing in San Diego,
LA's the last show on the tour. Actually, we'll be in LA in 2 weeks. I just forgot about that. But like, there's no time for fucking around for that. No, we're playing San Clemente and we're playing Redwood coming up. But
Are you flying out right after you're done playing?
yeah, it's like it's a practice and warm up for a thing that I'm going to be able to announce finally on Thursday when we announce.
I asked that question because I was like, how much fun would it be if after you're done playing, we do one of these with people live where we actually can play the songs while we're talking after?
Oh, sure.
Like,
that'd be great.
If you're down to do that,
like a live event, like
a live thing.
Like
you're done playing. Yeah, you're done playing, and then we go, okay, hey, for like the next however long we have before the venue kicks us out, let's talk about the alternative from '95, and we can play these songs. You can be like, this part right here where Glenn Scott Jonathan fucking did this great solo.
That sounds cool.
I would have so much fun doing that with you.
I don't know if it should be next time. Well, next time we're down there, that's going to be the end of like a 3.5-4 week tour.
That would make it even more fun. That would make it even more fun.
But we'd have to do it. You know, we can plan this off air. That's fine. I'm into the idea. That sounds cool as hell. I would like it, especially if folks can show up. You know, that's great. I think there's a certain amount of people when I mention I'm doing this show get excited about that, and you know, I do too. Great. I mean, like I said, I'm amazed that. Look, I see these Fakakta shows that are like on all these streaming services. Like this is way more entertaining than all that. Sorry, peace and love, but it is. But that's a low bar of entry. They all kind of suck.
So this and we're talking about music we dig, not music that we hate, and we're not tastemakers. We're just dudes that have done it.
We're talking that trash too.
Conan still does it. I don't do it to the level, not even close to what I used to do it. But you know, you're talking to dudes that did it at a certain level, and we have. I don't know. I think we have a certain amount of respect for even the guys that didn't make it. Even the stuff we don't dig all the way, we have a certain respect for.
So that's a key point to what makes these shows interesting to me is that you're not just getting the winner's history of rock and roll, right? You're not just getting like, here's the PR approved line on this band. It's like, oh no, yeah, this one sucks. This one's got a weird dick. You know, like whatever you want. whatever it's like.
Jerry Scarsdale from the fucking bedpost superstar pulled his cock out in Madison, Wisconsin.
Man's got a weird dick.
Frequency.
And that comes back to what I do with Partonic, right? That like I'm not trying to just give people context for stuff they already know that are already these household names, but people that maybe like are they're doing valid work and they don't often get a hearing on the music. They don't often get to talk about it in depth, and you know there's definitely a place for that. I like doing it in this form. Like this is the easy. These shows are the easiest and most fun things ever because I would literally do this for free. Like just, I mean, I am doing it for free, but I mean, just like not like be on air doing it. Yeah. So it's great, and the fact that other people are getting something out of it, it's awesome to have because we get a little community of people. They're like, oh yeah, you know, oh that's cool. Oh yeah, Rock from the Crypt. Oh yeah, U.S. Maple, Natalie Merchant. Like you get to like start thinking about this stuff, and then you can also be like, oh man, you know, I never did check out that Jars of Clay record. By the way. But
I'm not gonna lie, there's so much we have to do a metal show.
Jars of Clay, everybody.
I didn't know how much black and death metal came out.
Oh yeah.
And so this is a side note. I did hit up the booking agent for At the Gates, trying to get Thomas Lindbergh, the singer of At the Gates, because At the Gates releases, I think, their best record, which is Slaughter of the Soul. And for me, after that, it's like I don't need to hear any more death metal. I'm good.
So there you go.
The Slaughter of the Soul came out, and I'm good. But so we're gonna do another, like I said, hip hop. We're gonna do a dance music show because there's so much fucking great dance and electronic music that came out in '95. And Conan and I probably sometime this week we'll talk about doing a live post one of these, which is probably going to be the most fun ever.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, even like I'd be down to do it as a one-off. We don't even have to even tie it in with a tour. We can just like make like a weekend of a tour. We can tour that. We could do like one in SF.
Oh my God!
LA. Yeah,
can you imagine? Okay, before we go, I want Conan to, because every time I see you, I saw Todd Buller that plays guitar in Bitter Lake a couple weeks ago, and I'm helping Todd load up, and he's in a bigger band and we're having a good time talking, and everybody always goes, "Do you miss Jay?" And I go, "I do until I see you pick shit up."
Y'all moving that gear, and then not so much.
The moment I see you pick shit up, I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's not
at all.
By the way, consistently.
But me and you driving around in a rental car.
Yeah.
and going to different places and doing this and not having to sweat.
Meeting random ass folks
Oh,
that, you know, good, bad, and strange. Yeah.
I don't have to hang upside down from fucking the ceiling of a venue for people to be like, "Hey, that's pretty interesting."
Yeah. Hoo. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, so yeah, I'm in for that. But yeah, no, picking up my series of amplifiers and cabinets and helping the bass player move a 810 up a slanted
yeah.
staircase in Chicago.
They can move that on their own. Not in this man's army. No way.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm good.
So first of all, but do you condemn Evan Clear as a god tier comment? Amazing, fantastic. Not quickly enough, apparently.
Black junkie girlfriend. What was it?
like how folks like thought that I was like, oh, was he a secret Everclear fan? No, come on. Who do you think you're talking to?
Any band I say Conan likes, I am lying.
It's usually exactly the opposite. That's what's funny.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that, because he's not on the screen to defend himself, and I am lying. Don't ever think when I say that I'm being serious. But
I think that, so the new Way of the Neutron, the new Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends record goes up for pre-order on Thursday. So depending, it's either already up if you're listening to this later, or it's going to be up on Thursday. It's been a long time coming. It's like the record it's the longest time from completion to release.
That's what she said.
I set myself up for that one, didn't I? For a very long time. I'm very proud of it. We're going to have a couple singles of that drop over the course of the next few weeks. I've got a bunch of tour announcements as well. One of which that is not in the U.S. And yeah, we're gonna be hitting we're not hitting the South in May and June, but we're going East Coast, Midwest, Mountain West, West Coast, and those dates will be released fairly soon. If not next Thursday, soon thereafter. But I'm really proud of this record. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please consider picking up a copy when those pre-orders drop. That's how I keep this flying circus moving. Otherwise, you can listen to it for free in these walled gardens where we barely see a dime too, and that's also cool. It's nice just for people to hear it, but it's also nice to be able to do it, and to be able to do that, unfortunately, requires capitalism points, and I wish it didn't. But there we are.
You earned 14 capitalism points. All right, I have to go because I'm a guest on the show in a little bit.
Yep, all good. Always love doing these shows. 95. I think it was right that we did a two-parter on this. Yeah.
We're not done 95, dude. 95 lives on. We got more to do. 95 fucking lives
on in our hearts, really.
95. Also, check out Dan Larson's. It's now called Secret Galaxy. I forgot I'm wearing the Dan Larson shirt.
There you go.
Great show. 45 Teen Root Book. Somebody says, Kush, look, before we go, 1995, I believe, is the year of the first Blink 182 record not on a major label. It's on this playlist. So listen to this playlist. Blink 182 is on there. I love you, Kush. Everyone watching, this is one of our many love letters to you. Listen to the playlist. I'll put a link when Conan gives me the link. I'll put it up in this show so you can get a link to Conan's new stuff. Listen to his old stuff. Listen to it.
Copy's still available for most of them.
Please listen to his old stuff.
It's all there.
You're gonna be a dick and you're like, I don't buy digital music. We'll just play it.
I just play it for free and make sure the artist gets $0. Okay,
just
great.
Play it for free. We're all happy.
That's most people.
Yeah. You can brag more about that than his Bandcamp numbers, trust me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So thank you guys. And where's this thing? It was outro music. We're out. Conan, peace out.